Check to see if we're live. What I want to say, I think it is live already. We're live. Let's see. Let me go ahead. Okay, yeah, we're live. All right. How's it going, everybody? You're watching Dad versus CPS. Michael here. Just give me a couple of moments. I'm gonna go ahead and share this live stream on my Facebook real quick. Make sure we get some views over there. Facebook, I'm on my phone right now. Okay. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just share it to a couple groups. Nothing too big. Let's see. Anyways, so everybody, while I'm sharing this to some groups real quick, I'm coming live tonight, because I wanted to invite someone on the show who wants to share their story, a mother, right? Just give me 1 second to share this a little bit more. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing pretty good. I think that's enough. Okay, so we're live here on YouTube. So I got a mother by the name of Rebecca, right? She's from Texas, from a small little town right now. And I want to bring her onto the show because, you know, I want to give her a platform for her to be able to speak out about the things that are going on with DCFS and, you know, CPS and whatever they want to call themselves. They got so many names in different states, right? DCS or whatever it is they're calling themselves now these days. Right? But so I got Rebecca here on the, hold on, this sounds kind of a bit loud. So I got Rebecca here on the mic right here. And I want to talk to her about her story. So Rebecca, how did you come about your involvement with CPS? What exactly happened?
Okay, well, I had my youngest daughter in the Whataburger parking lot in San Antonio. And
can you speak a little bit louder?
Okay, she was premature and she was put in the NICU, and they said that we tested positive for drugs at birth, and which was untrue because I didn't have her at the hospital. You know what I mean? I had her in my car, and my documents from the hospital also prove that we weren't tested or failed the drug test or anything like that. Anyway, after I had her, we got contacted by CPS, and the investigator met with us in the Dairy Queen parking lot 7 days after the call. And she just wanted to see my son. I have 4 children, and she wanted to see my son. And so we took my son over there, and no, I have a daughter, the youngest, and then my son is 1. He was 1 at the time. And she just wanted to see him. She didn't ask about any of the other kids, which was kind of weird, because the case was about the newborn. And she met with us one time, and she went on vacation for a month to Disneyland, and comes back on, the investigator.
Okay.
She comes back and takes 4 welfare checks, and she comes with 2 police officers and her and another investigator, telling us that we have to give my kids over or we're going to go to jail, my 2 youngest. And so we ended up, about after 45 minutes, we ended up handing over our babies to them. And pretty much they didn't have a court order. We didn't sign a safety plan or service plan, still haven't to this day. No warrant, no anything like that. Pretty much our kids were taken without our consent.
So let me go over this, right? Because I have to tell you, Rebecca, it's kind of hard to hear what you're saying. I don't know, it sounds kind of muffled, right? But I want to start from the beginning again, right? Because I want to make sure I got this right. So you had a baby, right? This was a son or a daughter?
A daughter.
You had a little girl, okay. And what year
Yeah.
was this at?
2019.
Great, awesome. Now we can hear you way better. Okay, 2019.
Yeah, I took it off my speaker.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds
Yeah.
a lot better. Okay.
Okay.
So in 2019, you had a little girl. You were at the hospital. And I guess the hospital was trying to say that you had some bad drug test results or something. What is
Yeah,
it?
that she tested positive for amphetamines or whatever.
Amphetamines.
And which I had her in my vehicle at the Whataburger parking lot. So I know that neither one of us were tested at all. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and my records prove it that we weren't tested. We didn't test negative for anything or positive for anything. So, after that,
did you ever get the records from the hospital, the medical records?
yeah, that's part of what I sent you.
Okay.
I got the medical records, and it says on there, it says negative on everything, and then mine says drug use during cocaine use during pregnancy, it says no. Illicit drug use during pregnancy, it says no. Everything's negative on both of our documents, on all of our documents from the hospital.
I'm gonna share my screen, okay, so we can actually take a look at that.
Okay.
Is this it right here?
No, it's the other one. That's the one that CPS took of my son when they forged. Let's see.
This one?
See, no, that's the assessment from CPS, but if you can tell the blue highlight.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can't read it, but maybe you can.
Yeah, okay. It says, was any child born addicted to drugs or alcohol? And then it's marked in the box. It says no, right?
Exactly. That's the assessment from CPS.
I mean, there's some other things on here too. It says, has any child received physical harm that appears to be inflicted, non-accidental, and requires medical care, and where the actual harm is severe? No, right? And then it says,
exactly.
Has any caregiver or person who has access to any child made express a credible threat that may result in immediate danger or harm? And it says no. Right. And then I just read that one, right? Was any child born addicted or exposed to drugs or alcohol? No.
And it says no. Right. Exactly.
And then it says, if child sexual abuse, sexual exploitation is suspected, do circumstances suggest that any child may be in immediate danger or subsequent sexual abuse, sexual exploitation? No, right? Is the maltreatment premeditated, bizarre, or sarcastic, sadistic? Okay, no. Right? Are caregivers' explanations inconsistent with any of the child injuries or circumstances? No. Right? Does any caregiver appear unwilling or unable to meet any child's immediate needs that might result in immediate danger of? No. So I mean, obviously, then. So what is this exactly that we're looking at?
That is CPS's assessment.
Okay.
So their assessment comes out and it totally contradicts everything they're saying, obviously, because everything says no. So my question is, why do they still have my children? You know what I mean? So
everybody that amphetamines, I want to say that's like a pain reliever, right? Kind of.
Yeah, that can actually be a broken down prescription drug. Can be from antibiotic to Benadryl to anything that didn't completely break down in your system. You know what I mean? Has not broken down yet.
What is this one that we're looking at right here?
That one right there. CPS said after they took my children, they said that they gave my son, my 1-year-old, a hair follicle, and that he came out completely dirty for everything under the sun, MDA, MA, all the stuff. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's a joke. Anyway, if you look up in the right-hand corner, the test is cropped. They're trying to cover up the Quest Diagnostics.
This is kind of hard to see, but you're talking
Right
about right
there.
here?
Yeah, you see it?
What is it? What does it say?
I don't know what it says underneath there, but they didn't finish cropping it. You know what I mean? It's a false test, basically.
So this looks like I'm kind of more from. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with these kind of forms, right? But this is the form that they give you.
Yeah.
When you're about to take a drug test, right?
Yes.
And usually.
And I also go ahead. I also QR scan that test. If parents get papers like this, they can get the scanner thing on their phone. And that test came back as a virus. Like they gave my son a virus, like the Simon virus. I don't know how to say it correctly, but it's pretty much the polio virus, the vaccine.
Wow.
I have those documents too, but.
So let's go back to the hospital. Okay.
Okay.
When you were at the hospital. Okay. So obviously the hospital was trying to say that
Oh, did I send you that? Did I send? I sent you a page of my handoff report. I think it's the last one.
Okay, let's go back to the screen. Let's see.
Keep going. Keep going.
I think I was only able to convert these because the other one it's in another format.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Too light.
Yeah. Well, I was unable to open it. It's in a different format. It's under
okay.
WE. Sorry about that. But
No,
anyway.
it's fine. It was the hospital record, and it was stating, it was listing everything, and it was saying illicit drug use during pregnancy. It said no, cocaine use, no, and just listed like the medications I had taken and stuff like that, my depression, and pretty much a handoff report from the hospital.
Okay, but after your baby was born, your little girl, right? You were able to leave the hospital?
She was in the NICU because she was born a little bit early.
Okay.
But I had her in my car, so I'm pretty sure she wasn't latching or like sucking. So they wanted to make sure that she was going to get food down and stuff, you know.
Okay.
Like she wasn't I guess I don't know how to explain swallowing or like feeding right. She had to get a feeding tube in. Anyway, she was only in there for 5 days. But yes, I did end up taking her home.
Okay. So you were successfully discharged from the hospital.
Yes.
Wow. And did they show any concerns to you while you were there?
No, they were just worried. They were worried that she wasn't eating properly, but she got off the feeding tube within 1 day. So then they watched her, they monitored her for like 5 days and then sent her home.
Okay.
I brought her home for a month, and then that's when CPS took her. After a month.
And how did that go about?
The day they took her?
Yeah, like how did they show up to your door? Like what was their allegations or?
Yeah, they said that she tested positive at birth, which we could tell, obviously the paperwork, but they showed up, and actually it was 2 police officers who showed up first, and they were banging on the door, like all my doors and windows, like yelling my name. So I go outside, and this is the 4th welfare check. After the 4th time, the day they took him was the 4th welfare check. I'm sorry. And the 2 police officers show up first, and they're banging on all the windows and doors, screaming my name. So I go outside to see what's going on, and they say they didn't see my daughter and my son. So we take my daughter and son outside, and then 2 investigators show up. And
so then at first it was just the cops only there by themselves?
Yes, to get us to come outside, apparently. That was their coaxing, you know? Because of course, when someone's banging on all your windows and doors, you're going to go outside and see what's going on, you know?
Okay. But you said
So
this was the fourth time they had shown up to your house after you had
yeah,
left the hospital.
yep, the
So
police officers.
so they have been looking for you for a couple weeks
Well,
already.
no, she just kept calling welfare checks, and the cops kept telling her that the kids were okay, they were fine. And because she went on vacation for a month, and I had no contact from her for an entire month. When she comes back, I'm like, I haven't had no contact with you for a month. I didn't sign a safety plan. I didn't sign a service plan. You're going against your policies and all this, asking her what her probable cause was and all this other stuff. And yeah, pretty much she was gone for a month, comes back and then takes my children.
But the day that they were there, right? Did they actually have a warrant to take your children? They did?
No.
Oh, okay. So
no, I actually told her to leave. They told them to. I told them to leave my property. They actually ended up leaving for 5 minutes and then came back. And she says she has a court order and she's showing me her phone and like waving it in my face. I'm all, well, let me see your phone. I want to see this court order. And she stuck her phone back in her pocket. And I'm like, she don't have a court order. She don't have a warrant. They hadn't even filed a court document.
So this was basically an unwarranted seizure. That's basically what this is, right?
Yes.
And this was back in 2019.
Without a court order too, because they have. Yes, July 27th of 2019.
July 27th. Okay. So and you've been to the clerk's office? Have you gotten all your documents?
From the court, from the lower court?
Yeah. Well, obviously this is a CPS case, right? So it's in Texas.
Yeah.
All these are in the district court, right? So it's the district clerk's office that you have to go to.
Yeah.
But have you gone to the district clerk's office and gotten all your paperwork?
No, they won't. They won't give it to me. I haven't even gotten discovery yet, and I do not have a lawyer, by the way.
What do you mean they won't give it to you? Because I've got many videos showing people how to get documents from the clerk's office, and all you do is just tell the clerk that you need your case file. You want the case summary.
Oh yeah, good. I've asked the clerk that, and they told us they were going to charge us. I think the first time.
And they might charge you. They might, but most definitely they will give it to you.
I've asked for. Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, all you have to do is go to the clerk's office and just ask the clerk that you want copies, right, of this. And this is what I would specifically try to get. You want to see the warrant, right, or the court order, right? That was written on that day or issued on that day. You want to see the petition, okay, that was written, right, and filed into the
affidavit.
No, the petition.
The petition.
Three things of
we have the affidavit they filed.
Okay, but that doesn't start a case. Okay, what starts the case is the petition or a complaint, right? And I'm pretty sure that that's what
there's
they need
not
to file.
one.
Well, see, that's the whole point. You want to get it from the court, right?
Okay.
So you want to, because if there's not a petition started, then why is this case even continuing? They filed, yeah, exactly. They filed an affidavit, but that was it. Well, the affidavit most likely is in support of the petition that they file, right? Because this is the three things that I always tell people to get, right?
Okay.
Get the petition that started the case, because that's what started the case, obviously. Get the affidavit in support of the petition, right? That the caseworker wrote. It's the one where the caseworker writes all the lies on there and everything on there.
Yeah.
Right. Usually there are lies, right? Very rarely do they tell any real truth.
Definitely not firsthand witnesses, that's for sure.
And then with the petition and the affidavit, that's usually what they need to get the order or a warrant to be issued, right? Now, those are the three things that you should go to the clerk's office and get, right?
Okay.
And record them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You don't have to show them making it obvious that you're showing them, right? But this is just to help you out. Maybe we can just
Yeah.
post this later on and then just review it, right? And I can show you, or maybe you can just call me, that day, just have me on the phone, and then I can guide you more or less what to tell them, right? But it's fairly simple, right? They have to give you everything. If anything, they're gonna ask you for an ID. That's probably most of all they'll do, right? It's more easier to get
Yeah,
documents in
they make you
Texas.
show an ID.
Yeah, because it's a juvenile case, right?
Is
But I mean,
there, okay,
go ahead.
yes. Well, here's my dilemma. I can't go to the courthouse now because they have now, a year later, filed criminal charges against me, trying to put me in prison, and I have a warrant for my arrest because of
Oh
this.
man.
And yet, the thing is, I was never served any of these papers for a criminal charge. I've never been to criminal court, nothing like that, just family court.
Well, let me ask you this: have you seen the warrant?
No. And when,
Well, how do you
and when
know
my,
how do you know that it exists?
okay, my husband was arrested at his job, and he asked them, can I see the warrant? They said, it's on my computer, and I'm just doing what my computer says. So they arrested him for it. That's how I know I have one out for me too, because they told him that they were looking for me.
Well,
But
what kind of warrant is it? Is it a felony warrant or is it a misdemeanor
yes,
warrant?
2 felony charges they
Okay.
filed a year later.
And have they told you what the charges are?
They're trying to charge me with child abandonment, child endangerment, and child negligence. This was a year after they had already taken my children. And on a date,
and you have the cause number to those
yes,
to those warrants?
to the document that, yeah. I don't know if it's the cause number for the warrant, but I have the cause number for the CPS and the documents that they filed in court.
The KPS. That sounds like usually those are tickets. The KPS
Yeah.
warrant. So you
That's
have a
what they put
KPS.
out.
How much are they saying that you owe?
See, I don't understand that. We don't owe them anything. That's what it says on the document.
I mean,
though.
because
It says,
I'm very familiar with KPS warrants, and those are
yeah,
like tickets, right?
I'm telling you, it says CPS on it. It says CPS, it says indictment, and then it says arraignment, and it says unserved by all of those.
Okay. So here's the thing, too, right?
Okay.
Usually the arraignment is what they're trying to bring you on first, right?
Yeah.
That's what an arraignment is. It's just to hear. It's for you to enter a guilty or not guilty plea.
Not guilty.
Of course, you would want to declare your innocence too, right?
Of course. But how would we be if we were never? It says on the paper we were never served with these documents. How can they have a warrant out for us?
I need to actually see some more paperwork on your case so I can actually give you a more definite answer. Okay. I can tell you this though: if you have the cause number to the case that's attached to that warrant, then you can watch and you can just go to the clerk's office and you can get a copy of the warrant and the arrest affidavit that was used to issue out that warrant. Right.
Okay.
Hey, let me tell you a story real quick, okay, about me helping my friend Jessica out, right?
Okay.
So she was walking her dog, right? And I'm sorry. She went to the park, right? With her dog, and I'm sorry, she wasn't walking her dog, but she went to the park with her dog, okay? And I'm not so sure. I can't remember the story if she was with her son or if she was by herself, but she was at the park, right? And she ended up passing I guess like the front of the park is like a place where there's like it's like a little building and it's got a camera on there, and she walked past it, right? And she left the dog inside the car with all 4 windows rolled down, right? And I want to say that they counted the time and they said that she was there for about 45 minutes. So after a while, there was a commotion going on at her car, right? And the mayor was there at the park, right? And so what happened was the mayor calls the cops, right? But the mayor also goes inside her car puts his hand in there and opens the door and right and lets the dog out, right?
Oh my
before,
gosh.
before the cops get there, right? Because he's the mayor.
Yeah.
Do things like that. Right. Right. But anyways, right. So the cops get there and she's making a big scene about it. I mean, because who wouldn't, right? Because that's your car, that's your dog. It almost looks like he was trying to steal the dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I would have presented it, right? But anyways, so the cops give her back the dog, right? And she's furious, right? She's upset, like anybody would be, right?
Yeah.
And nothing happens. They actually let her go, but they take her information. So they have her license number, they have her driver's license plates, right? They have her address and all that stuff, right? So what happens is a couple days later, she gets a letter from the city clerk's office, right? And they're telling her that she has a warrant for her arrest, right? And they're telling her that for cruelty to animals, right? And then they're telling her that she has a ticket, right, for like I want to say it was like $250 fine and a block on from the DMB. That's what it's called over there, the DMB. So that she cannot get her license reinstated once it expires, right? And I think it was coming up, right? So she was kind of nervous about that because now she wouldn't be able to drive. Plus, she has a warrant. Now she's got something to pay, right? And she's telling me about this, right? She's like, Michael, what do I do, right? And so I'm telling her, look, well, first of all, this is what I always tell people, just like I told you, right? Like, because you said you got a warrant, right? So I told Jess, look, so did you see this warrant? Right? And she goes, no, I haven't seen it, but Michael, I know it's there, right? Just like most of us know it's there, right? But still,
I sent it to your messenger.
Okay, but still, I always ask people, have they seen this warrant that's alleged to be out there?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because if you haven't seen it, then I mean, what you're really doing is you just go voluntarily, and that's exactly what you're doing, right? Is you're going on a vacation on your own time, right?
Yeah,
Because you wanted to do that, But because I'm going voluntary, there better be a warrant. You know what I mean? There better be a warrant, right? And I want to make sure that it's there. But anyways, so I tell Jessica to get the warrant from the clerk's office, right? And she's afraid, right? And she doesn't want to go to the clerk's office. She's like, Michael, I'm not gonna go in there. I got a warrant. I'm gonna get arrested.
That's exactly what I just said.
Yes. Okay. But watch. Okay. Let me, because this might help you. Okay. So I'm telling her, look, go to the clerk's office and say, I'm not gonna do that, Michael. No. Okay. All right. Look, stop with this fear about the clerk's not going to pull out her handcuffs and arrest you. She is a clerk of the court. Okay. She doesn't she's not interested at all.
She's got a red buzzer that's gonna call the bailiff. I'm just kidding.
Right. But I tell her, look, get over that fear and go to the clerk's office and ask her for a copy of this warrant, right? Because you haven't been served, right? You just want a copy of that, plus you want the arrest affidavit, right? That was issued with that warrant, right? That's all you want. And how much is it, right? And then get a certified copy or a copy, whatever, and then just get out of there, right? That's it. Right?
Just run because she's gonna push that boulder.
Right. I'm just kidding. And so she does that, right? And she gets the courage and she goes in there and she goes, I got it, Michael. I got it. And I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, oh, well, send it to me, right? Let me see it. Let me check it out. Right. So she sends it to me, right? And then we're reading it, right? And I'm like, and I'm just trying to find some flaws in the warrant, right? In the affidavit so that we can tear it down, we can bring that up. Right. So the warrant. Okay. So the warrant was signed. It was signed by a judge. It had a cause number. It had the clerk's signature. It had all the good stuff. Right. So making it a warrant. Right. But fine, I don't want to look at the warrant no more. I want to look at the arrest affidavit that activated that warrant. Right. That encouraged the judge to sign this warrant. Right. So we're reading the arrest affidavit. Right. And it's the cop. Right. One cop at that. Right. One of the cops who had shown up, right? The first one, and he's writing his report, right? In his statement. I'm sorry, he's writing his statement in this affidavit, right? That was used,
Well, wouldn't it have to be the mayor writing the statement?
Oh no. Well,
Because he's the personal. Go ahead.
well, it just depends, you know. I mean, the mayor felt like he didn't have to do anything because he's the mayor. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if it
Well,
would have
wouldn't
been,
it have to
if it
be
would
a
have been,
first-hand witness?
that's they took. See, there was several people there at the scene, right? And they took they took everybody's statement, right?
Okay.
Right. But we're talking about the warrant, all right?
Yeah.
The arrest affidavit. Okay.
Okay.
And so what they did in that instance is, since the cop talked to everybody, the cop himself just wrote an arrest affidavit, right? And he's not a first-hand witness, right?
No.
He shows up after the fact, right?
And you have to have two.
He shows up after the dog has already been taken out of the car, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, so we start reading it, and it was like about a couple pages long, right? It seemed more of a report than it did an affidavit. The point is, what I'm trying to say is that on the entire affidavit, you know, I'm just calling it out as I read it, and I'm like, check it out, Jess. It's his side of the story, and he's not even a first-hand witness to any of this, right? So what we need to do is we need to write an affidavit of rebuttal, right? And we need to rebut everything on that arrest affidavit, right?
Yeah.
And word by word, right? And then we need to file an affidavit of your own telling your side of the story and keep it separated. The affidavit of rebuttal is just rebutting everything, and the affidavit of fact, right, is just going to be, you know, your side of the story, right? And I explained this to her, right? But she went ahead and just called it affidavit of rebuttal, and she did it both in one, right? She told her story and she rebutted everything, right? And it worked, right?
Yeah.
As soon as she filed this with the clerk's office, okay, but a couple hours later, the clerk of the court went onto the docket and recalled the warrant. Not only that, but they took off the $250 fine, okay?
Yeah.
And then they took off the block from the DMV, right? So that was very cool on how we found out how to do this, right? Because and the whole reason why I gave her that route to do, right, was because I had been doing affidavit of rebuttals, right, with people
for a while.
Yeah, for a while, right, trying to show people how to rebut things, right? And
you showed me how to do it.
You know, like taking it to a criminal point of view, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like, you know what, it would have worked, right? And so we did, right? And that's what they had done, right? Well, eventually, check this out. So eventually Jessica goes ahead and she eventually gets to trial, right? Because they're still messing with her, right? They still want to prosecute her, right? They still want to all that nonsense, right? The dog was fine. Right, the dog was not in danger. He was not beat up. He wasn't like
in an immediate.
He wasn't biting.
Harm.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't biting the windows and he broke the glass and trying to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was fine. He was fine. You know what I'm saying? The inside of the car wasn't beaten up. She
didn't have the heater on 100 degrees while it's 100 degrees outside.
Hey, check this out. We checked it out, right? I told her, Jess, have you checked the weather on that day to see what it was? Right? And we did, right? Because you can just so 70 degrees, right? 70 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're over here preaching that the sun was out and
still on the grass. Like,
all 4 windows are down. She's got pictures, she's got videos, and I'm like, they're trying to just make an issue of this, and I'm like, oh my god. Right? But check this out, anyways.
It's like a kid. Like, I wonder what I guess they would have really crapped themselves with a kid with 4 windows down, but I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
The dog was not in any immediate danger.
Yeah. He was. She didn't give him a bone. She didn't leave him no bone or nothing.
But check this out. So let's fast forward, right? In Jessica's case, right? So what happens is she ends up going to trial, right? And she represents herself. Right? She does a fine, damn good job too, right? But here's let me tell you the ending, right? So she was eventually and she's not an attorney, right? But she did her best, right?
Yeah.
But she was found guilty of a misdemeanor of cruelty
What?
to animals. But watch
Oh
this,
my
because
God.
I mean, it was her first time presenting her case, right?
Yeah.
But in the end, the prosecutor knows how to do their beginning statements and ending statements and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
The
anyways,
dog was drooling all over himself and
but watch this, watch this. So the jury only gives her $1,000 fine, right? That's it. No jail time, right? But she's
Yeah.
got a misdemeanor conviction, right, for cruelty to animals, right? But watch this, okay? So Jessica wants to be pretty tough, right? She doesn't want to pay that fine, right? She's like, no, I'm not gonna pay it. I'm not.
no,
But-
yeah, I
yeah,
was the same way.
but I told her, look, I think you're gonna have to pay that fine and just get it over with, right? Because this is the jury that kind of said you have to do this, right? It's not the judge.
Did you
and
ask
it's
for
not-
a
it's-
retrial?
And that's what we should have done, right? And that's what she still can do, right? But
Reconsideration?
but watch, there's a point to this, okay? So after a while, she had been standing firm on how she didn't want to pay this fine, right? And she had to, right? But watch, eventually they issue out another warrant for her for not
Oh my
paying
God.
that fine, right?
Yeah.
But she's calling me up again, right? And I'm telling her, she's asking me for advice on what we can do, right? And so I have another friend, right, who's a notary, right? And a notary with a bond, right? $5,000 bond. So she has as being a notary, right? And she tells me that she tells me this story, right, on how you're able to pay off the bond, right, for your warrant at the courthouse, right? And
Yeah.
and it just depends on where they have that in the courthouse, right? And so this was something very interesting that Marie was telling me about, right? Because she was telling me, she's like, Michael, most people want to just go ahead and just pay a bondsman to get themselves out of jail, right? When all you have to do is just go to the courthouse and post bond, right? And
Oh, crap.
I'm like, really? Right?
Right?
And so I'm passing this information, right, over to Jessica, right? So she can actually take care of this warrant, right? Because I don't think that there was going to, I don't think an affidavit of rebuttal was going to fix this after a jury had sentenced her, right?
Yeah.
So I told her, look, this is what my friend told me, right? Why don't we go try it? But you're gonna have to post bond. So how much is the fine? $1,000? Okay. So what's 10% of that? Right? $100 plus there might be some fees, right? So she went to the courthouse with about $200, right? Maybe a little bit more, whatever, right? But she asked the clerk if she could post bond, right, on this warrant, and she paid $175, right, to post bond, and the warrant was withdrawn,
Lifted. Yeah.
So there you go. It was lifted. There you go. Right. So
Wow.
so that's another way we found out how to take care of a warrant, right? Go to the courthouse and just take care of it.
See, well, the thing here is they filed these criminal charges a year after the fact, and on a day that they had my children. They're saying that we committed these crimes, but they had my kids already. You understand? On the day that they're saying that we did these crimes, they had my children in the state care. And
wow. Okay, so that's something that we can address too. I wish I would have seen these you know what, see if you can get the official
I sent them
documents.
to you right now.
Did you?
Yeah, on your messenger.
Okay.
But they signed it they did it a year later, and I actually think that the clerk filled the paperwork out that day when he was arrested, but that's besides the point right now. So we find out about this a year later. They filed it on a day that they had my kids in state care, saying that we committed these crimes against my children. We abandoned them. We endangered them in negligence or whatever. And then on top of that said we were indicted by a grand jury. Well, in 2020, on June 1st, whenever they said that we were indicted by a grand jury, there was no grand jury, because I looked at the court calendar all the way back 3 years, and The grand jury was not in court until June 22nd of 2020. So how were we indicted by a grand jury on June 1st if there was no grand jury?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would definitely make some more trips to the courthouse, right? I'm all about going to the clerk, right? And just getting
Yeah.
everything.
Well, she's a part of my federal case, and she refuses to talk to me, or because I've emailed her several times about the case summary and stuff like that, but she won't respond at all.
Well, why don't you give it a shot? Why don't you just call the clerk's office and just ask them how much it is to post bond?
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, give it a shot.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Yeah.
it's going to be for $10,000. It's going to be a $500 bond. I think that's what he had to pay to a bondsman because he actually went to jail. I wasn't with him.
See that? No, that's to a bondsman. But
Oh,
but
okay.
if you're going to the clerk's office, it might be different.
Okay. And the bondsman gave my husband actually, he gave him a $100 credit because my husband explained what was going on. And he said, this county is bad. It's corrupt, bad, and they just want money. And I was like,
Look,
"Ugh."
I can tell you right now from experience, okay, with
Yeah, because you're
bondsmen,
from around here.
right? I've gotten several friends out of jail, just so you know, okay?
Yeah.
And some I've done it without any money at all. Okay, but it just depends on how close you are, right? And what kind of credit you got with the bondsman, right? Have you paid your fees in the past, right? Have you kept your word, right? Usually these are things you got to build a relationship with these bondsmen.
I've never been in trouble. Like I've never like been in trouble like that.
Talk to the bondsman, right? Before you even go to jail, if that's what's gonna happen, and be like, look, here's what's going on. Here's my situation. Okay. I just want to make an arrangement with you. Okay. I want you to know that, like look, here's some money right now. Right.
Yeah, he already took care of my husband's, like, because he was arrested and I wasn't with my husband. So that's the reason I wasn't arrested at that time. And I'm still, you know what I mean?
Okay, here's another thing that you can try to use too. Okay. And this works, and I've actually gotten someone.
Can you explain to me how it's on my background check already as a felony charge if I've never been charged with it?
And what do you mean on your background check?
Like when I look at my background, I have two.
What program are you using?
What is that? I don't know which background check. I don't remember the name of it. I can't think of the name of it. What is it called? Think of it. I can't think of it. There you go. If you look at my background, I have 2 felony charges. And I've never been to court for it, never been charged with it, nothing. It's already on my background. How is that?
Well, that usually just gives you a reference, like for judgments and things like that.
Well, I was thinking if you haven't been charged with that, how can you know what I mean?
Once you're convicted, it'll definitely show conviction. It will.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? But right now you're just in a court, right? So that's public record, right? However that got on been verified, it still amazes me. Right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, why is it on my background? I haven't even been charged with it or went to court for it or anything. I didn't even know I had these charges. But
been verified is one of those. I'm not actually even sure how that information gets out there, but there's an option on been verified to actually remove your personal information, just so you know. And Truthfinder has that also.
Truthfinder, that's what it is. That's what it is right there.
And both of them is free, right? All you have to do is somewhere on the website, you fiddle with it, and there'll be an option to remove your personal information, right?
Okay. So all right.
FYI, everybody.
All right. I was just curious.
You can't find anything on David Jose. Well, you know why.
Yeah.
But I already found it, so.
Way to go. He's secret.
Yeah, he's very secret.
I sent you all the ones to your messenger so you can check it out whenever you feel like checking it out. But on this, I was going to tell you, okay, right here it says CPS. It does say CPS. I was right. And then it says indictment and it says arraignment. And then it says unserved, unserved, unserved.
Well, that means they haven't given it to you. Right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
So how, if you were unserved, can there be a warrant for your arrest and be charged with something that you never even were served with? You know what I mean? Am I making sense?
No, yeah, you are. But obviously they're trying to get you in court.
Yeah. Well, because I've been fighting them with this whole CPS case.
If you have an arraignment, then there's a scheduled court date for you.
Okay, well,
And you can find that out just by calling the clerk.
Well, that was 2 years ago. Now,
You probably still have an arraignment, right? You just haven't
Okay.
been to it.
Well,
all they're doing is just rescheduling it. That's all they're doing.
And then they're calling him for a pretrial, but the date for pretrial is August 13th of 2020. How does he go to pretrial for August 13th of 2020 if that's already passed? I was like, you get a time machine and you go backwards or what? Like,
what do you mean? Like, how did you get that date?
When he went to jail, he got out on a bond. And on one of those papers that I sent you, it says pretrial services, August 13th of 2020.
Well, they probably already had that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause they did it a year afterwards, but he hadn't, like I said, we didn't know we had these charges, right? So he went to go pick up tires from his job and the cop, blah, 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 said that it was suspicious. And, so they told him he had a warrant out for his arrest for all that stuff. And he said, can I see the warrant? He said, it's on my computer. I have to just do what the computer says. Ended up taking him to jail and all that good stuff. And that's what that paperwork says. It says pretrial services, August 13th.
What is CPS doing with you right now? Are they do they have y'all engaged in any services or anything like that?
No, because we never signed a service plan or safety plan, and we refused to contract with them or comply with them. So they're making our life a living HEW hockey sticks because we decided to stand up and fight back. We've had by the way, we've had no contact with our children for the last almost 3 years now. And my baby girl was 4 weeks old when she was taken.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would
no
you ever
contact whatsoever. I don't even know where my babies are.
Would you ever consider doing services?
Well, actually, I got online when COVID was, and I took classes and stuff like that online. I paid for them myself and everything like that.
And so you have certificates of completion?
Yes, I sure do.
Have you submitted that with the court?
I sure did.
Okay.
Anything that the judge ignores everything I put into my file, which I was just trying to make a record because you can't appeal anything if you don't have a record, you know?
That's true.
Like,
okay,
so,
but you also can't appeal anything that you filed, what you can't prove that you have served, just so you know. So
what do you mean?
this is okay. So just because you filed something doesn't mean the other side got it. Only the judge has it. You still have to
I made
prove.
sure that it said file and serve. Like,
Mm.
I did e-file and it was served by the clerk, and it keeps track of all the stuff or whatever. And
that's right. That's right. E-file does serve the other side. It does. So long as you have their email addresses. That's right.
Yes.
So that's good. Great job. Okay. And it even shows you the day they opened it too, right?
Yep.
That's great. So it seems like you're going on the right track. That's pretty smart, right? To make a record, because you can only present the evidence at your appeal at the appellate court, right? The Court of Appeals, whatever.
If it's already been submitted or whatnot, right?
Yeah, you can, because they're only going to look at the evidence that was in the court, the last court you were in. That's all they're going to do. You can't submit any new evidence in your
appeals court. Yeah.
So that's great. That's great what you're doing, right? I don't know. I've been talking to a lot of other people too, right? And I'm kind of changing my view on things like that with services.
I've tried to get a jury trial too, or not a jury, but trial. However, is it jury by trial or trial by jury? I think it's jury by trial, right?
It's supposed to be trial by jury.
Trial by jury.
But I can tell you this, okay? I've never seen any document that's ever titled trial by jury on a document, right?
I did
I've
one.
actually I've done it myself, you know,
Yeah, I've done it myself too.
right?
But
Because I mean,
they vacated our trial. We passed up the dismissal date 3 times.
they
They
vacated your trial date,
Yes, right when it came up. Actually, they've done it twice.
and how did they
I
do
have
that?
I have no idea. They reset and then they vacated it. And then they put in a document stating to keep our case on the docket or whatever. I put a motion to dismiss after on the year mark, because it states in the family code that if you don't put a motion to dismiss in on the year date that there's on the year date of your case opening, they're supposed to dismiss automatically if they don't have a final hearing or a trial or a final order on the merits. Well, they had neither one of those for us. So I filed a motion to dismiss.
Did they have a hearing for that
No.
motion to dismiss?
No. See, and now
Have you spoken with the court coordinator before? She's the one that schedules hearings, just so you know.
Yes, I have. No, they didn't do anything for that.
When someone files a motion, okay, there's
supposed to be a hearing, right?
There's supposed to be a hearing for that motion, right?
Yeah.
But I would, and usually when it's the attorneys that are filing these motions, I'm pretty sure they arrange that. But since if you're doing this by yourself and you don't have an attorney, then you would file these motions, then you would actually have to call the court coordinator or the calendar clerk or whatever they're calling themselves in whatever state you're in. In California, then it's the court coordinator, right?
Yeah, I'm in Devine, Texas.
Okay, small little town.
Yeah.
What county is that?
Medina.
Medina County. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the thing is I filed an injunction in federal court, right? So the judge recused himself and saying that he no longer had jurisdiction over the case. And
what was his reason for doing that?
Because I had him on the injunction in the lawsuit in federal court.
You're suing your judge in federal court. That you were suing the federal judge?
No, the lower court, the family court judge. But they dismissed him from it, but he still recused himself from the lower court case, the CPS case.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you were suing in DC in the CPS case. You're a CPS judge. You're saying that you were suing him in federal court, and because you did that, he recused himself in CPS, the CPS court. Okay,
and I do believe that's probably why they vacated the trial, because he said that he could no. They were like, well, what do we do? Because that day that he recused himself, we were supposed to have jury selection, and one of the attorneys was like, well, what do we do? He's like, I can't answer your questions anymore. I can't hear evidence. I can't hear anything on this case. I'm recusing myself. And then that's the last I've heard of anything in lower court.
How long ago is this?
It's been, I filed my federal injunction, and I think I don't know how long it takes in federal, because I think they stayed the case until the judge gets to read all the motions and stuff.
When did you file your federal case, your lawsuit?
January 11th of 2021.
Okay, so it's been about a year, and you're still in?
A year. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I did that myself because I was tired of. Because if you file in federal court, you have to do it before the final hearing and before the trial. I filed an injunction before then, so that's why mine was able to go to the next step. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I wasn't asking them to review my case. I was asking them to intervene in my case.
In federal court?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing about federal court, okay? Federal court is its jurisdiction is limited, okay?
Yeah.
So they can only hear matters of federal jurisdiction. They don't hear family matters, just so you know.
No, I know.
Right.
But if it deals with a federal question in the family matter, I don't know.
And the way you can argue it, right? The way you can argue it is what they're doing to you, right, in DCFS, right, in CPS court, right, what they've
Uh-huh.
done to you there in those instances is they have deprived you of your rights, your civil
Yes.
rights, unwarranted seizure, right?
Yes.
Things like that, deprivation of rights, and you would sue them under Title 42, Section 1983. Obviously, right? That's what you're gonna need to do. But what I've been doing is I've been studying some other lawsuits that have been filed by other attorneys, right? And it seems to be the best method to do is to file in federal court only as a complaint for damages. That's
Yeah.
all you're doing. You're not asking for the kid back in federal court. You're not asking for that type of relief. The relief you want is money. That's all you want. Right?
Yeah.
You try to do it in any other way, okay, they're going to dismiss your case. If you try
Okay.
to, and this is what I've seen, okay, if you start attacking the judge in federal court, any judge, right, and you try to bring them to court in federal court, you try to prosecute them, right, and that way they're going to dismiss your case, okay, under the grounds that they're going to apply the Rooker-Feldman doctrine.
Okay, well,
right?
I beat that. That's the thing.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I got past that. And actually, I have the recommendation and report right here. I was going to say, I want to read a part to you.
Okay.
It's called recommendation, and let's see. It's the report and recommendation and order of the United States Magistrate Judge.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm looking for a certain part, but it says right here, the undersigned has the authority to order service of plaintiff's complaint pursuant to 28 USC section 636B1A. Hold on, I'm going to look for that one part that I wanted to read to you, where it says about the Rooker-Feldman. When you brought that up, I was like, I did. 1 second.
Which document is this? Because I know you send me your files and I haven't got a chance to read them.
It's the recommendations and report.
Look in the top of the document. It'll say document number.
Oh, document number 12.
Number 12. Okay, I'll look at it later.
I'm looking right here. Hold on one second. Let me find that part for you, and I'll let you keep saying what you were saying, and I'll look for this real quick.
Yeah, the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. Let me see if I can pull that up so I can show everybody. There it is. This is what they try to throw at you whenever you try to sue the attorneys.
Yeah, it says pursuant to 28 USC 1915E, this court may screen any civil complaint filed by a party proceeding in forma pauperis to determine whether the claims presented are 1, frivolous or malicious, 2, fail to state a claim on which relief may be granted, or 3, seek monetary relief against a defendant who is immune from such relief. See 28 USC section 1915E2B. A complaint is frivolous if it lacks an arguable basis in law or in fact. I gotta turn the page. Okay. A complaint lacks an arguable basis in law if it is based on an indisputably meritless legal theory. A complaint lacks an arguable basis in fact when the allegations are fanciful, fantastic, and delusional, or when they rise to the level of irrational or the wholly incredible. The court is vested with especially broad discretion, making the determination of whether the IFP proceeding is frivolous. A claim should be dismissed for failure to state a claim upon which relief may be granted where a plaintiff's allegation failed to plead factual content that would allow a court to conclude the defendant is liable for the misconduct alleged. This case appears to challenge the outcome of a state court proceeding regarding a custody dispute. Plaintiff's lawsuit may be barred by the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. Under the Rooker-Feldman doctrine, an individual may not file a civil rights suit in federal court to collaterally attack a state civil judgment. The Rooker-Feldman doctrine establishes that a federal court lacks subject matter jurisdiction when issues in federal court are intertwined with a final state court judgment. However, Rooker-Feldman does not bar a federal lawsuit simply because it challenges the state court's legal conclusions or alleges that the parties misled the state court.
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
A federal lawsuit is not barred if the alleged injuries were caused by defendant's actions rather than by the state court judgment, even if the defendant's actions led to the state court judgment. Where a plaintiff is not seeking review or rejection of the state court's custody order, but the actions taken by the defendants before the state court entered any orders, Rooker-Feldman does not apply. For this reason, the Fifth Circuit has held that a lawsuit challenging the initial non-judicial seizure of a minor and other events associated with that seizure, in that case, an allegedly unnecessary sexual assault exam performed on the child was not barred by the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. Like the allegations in Saloom, this case involves accusations of wrongdoing related to the seizure of the plaintiff's children by DFPS prior to any court hearings or issuance of any custody orders. The court will therefore allow plaintiff's complaint to be served on some of the defendants named in this case. There are certain defendants, however, that should be dismissed from the suit prior to service.
Who did they dismiss?
They dismissed
well, first of all, who was it all that you were suing?
Okay, the first judge, Kathy Morris, the second judge, Robert Falkenberg, the John Stewart Lohmeyer was one of the attorneys, Alan K. Lowe, the second attorney for the petitioner, Department of Family and Protective Services, Kathleen Murray, the guardian ad litem, Lisa Greenwald, the court reporter.
Okay.
The court reporter, the district court clerk, Cindy Fowler, the district court clerk, Molly Daniels, CPS supervisor, Andy Hearn, COSTA supervisor, Shannon Walker, Christy Knox, which was the first caseworker, Christina Barciaga, which was a CPS investigator, Guadalupe Alvarez, which was the special investigator, Stephanie Sullivan Kirkpatrick, which was my fourth CPS caseworker, Candy Benavides, which was the Devine Police Department's chief, Ezekiel Perez, which is a Devine police officer, Ken Paxton, State of Texas, Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Those are all the defendants.
Okay. Pretty big list, but I mean, I feel you though. I really do, right? Because that's exactly what somebody needs to do. But who was it that they allowed to stay on the case? Who
they
got
allowed? It says right here. That's what I wanted to get to too. The 11th Amendment generally has private suits against non-consenting states in federal court. Sovereign immunity is privilege of sovereign not to be sued without its consent. The Supreme Court has recognized the sovereign immunity also prohibits suits against state officials or agencies that are effectively suits against the state. However, the Supreme Court has recognized an exception to the 11th Amendment sovereign immunity where a party brings a suit for injunctive or declaratory relief against individual state officials acting in violation of federal law. And then I was going to read why they're allowing me to sue the remaining defendants, which are the attorneys and stuff, which is pretty interesting.
Well, what about the judges? Are the judges
they
still being
dismissed them?
Okay.
No, they dismissed them. Plaintiffs appear to arise under Section 1983, the federal civil rights statute imposing liability on every person who, under the color of law, deprives another person of his or her civil rights. See 42 USC 1983. The state of Texas itself is not amendable to any suit under Section 1983 for damages or injunctive relief. As the Supreme Court has held, it is not a person for purposes of Section 1983, which brings me to, since the state of Texas is not a person, how can the state of Texas have standing to sue anyone? since it's not a person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing though. The state of tech. Well, you know what? I was gonna say something, but I can't even say that because you know what? We always see people in court where it's the state of Texas versus you.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
can the state of Texas get on the stand and with their own breath say, you know what I mean? Can the state of Texas get on the witness stand? No. So how can the state of Texas be suing people in the state of Texas's name? You know what I'm saying? Because it says state of Texas versus so and so.
I want to say
How is
I want to say somewhere, within our constitution and within the authority that we actually gave them that authority to do that.
okay?
Right?
Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it says, I was getting at the whole fact where it says that it won't let me sue the state of Texas or Ken Paxton or anybody, but plaintiffs sue numerous.
The caseworkers were suable.
Yes, it says plaintiffs sue numerous DFPS employees in their official capacities as well as their individual capacities. Plaintiffs also sue Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Plaintiffs have not alleged any facts that suggest Attorney General Paxton has the requisite connection to the requested injunctive relief, but that's not what I was getting at. Plaintiffs sue a number of DFPS supervisors, caseworkers of conspiring to move their children without authority. Plaintiff's complaint should be served on the various individual DFPS supervisors and caseworkers named in the official capacities. These defendants could potentially be state officials responsible for the enforcement of any court order directing the return of the plaintiff's children to their care and custody. And then it says, defendants Candy Benavides. Go ahead.
Specifically, okay, what was the injunction relief that you were asking them to stop doing?
For them to dismiss the case and to return my children to my full care, custody, and control. And
have you been heard? Have you been heard in federal court yet? Have you gotten to court yet?
Not yet. She's reading over all the motions.
What motions have you filed?
They filed a motion to dismiss, and I filed a motion to quash their motion to dismiss. And then
why did you do that? Did they do an improper service?
No, because I don't know why I did. I did the motion to quash their dismissal because they went past the 21 days for their response. So I did a motion to quash their motion to dismiss because they waited past the deadline.
I like that. You're doing it right. You are.
Okay.
You really are.
And then it says the plaintiffs should be served on the police chief Benavides because they are local, not state officials. The Supreme Court has recognized that I can't say that word. How do you say it? Municipalities, there you go, and other local governmental bodies are persons within the meaning of Section 1983. Although there may be other legal hurdles to succeeding on their claims against these two defendants, plaintiffs should be able to at least serve these employees of the Devine Police Department for the seizure of their children without a court order or other legal basis for doing so. Defendant Cindy Fowler, the county clerk for Medina County Courthouse, she is therefore a local official and by extension a state actor under Section 1983. The Fifth Circuit extended the doctrine of judicial immunity to the clerks of court. Clerks of court, however, have a narrower ambit of immunity than judges and prosecutors. Plaintiffs allege that Fowler signed fraudulent documents and destroyed documents. It is unclear whether these alleged unlawful acts were performed at the discretion of the judge and would therefore be cloaked by absolute judicial immunity or were discretionary acts subject to lesser protection.
What document is this again that you're reading?
The recommendations and report.
Okay. And you can actually oppose the recommendations, just so you know.
Yeah. And then this one, I wanted to get to the attorneys. Sorry, it's taking me. The attorneys, they say you can also, oh, right here. Attorney immunity is a defense available under Texas law protecting attorneys from liability to non-clients, stemming from the broad declaration that attorneys are authorized to practice their profession, to advise their clients and interpose in any defense or supported defense without making themselves liable for damages.
What is it that you're reading right now?
The report and recommendations.
It says that? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
But does it give a reference to where that's actually coming from?
what do you mean?
Is that a case
Oh,
law
yeah.
that you're reading?
Yeah, it says Canty Hanger LLP versus
Okay.
Bird. Yeah, it gives it. Internal quotation and citations omitted.
So in other words, you can't sue the other attorneys, right? Because
You didn't let me
not.
you didn't let me finish the attorney part. You
Okay.
haven't gotten to the good part yet.
Okay, go.
Okay. And so long as the actions at issue qualify as the kind of conduct in which an attorney engages when discharging his duties to his client, i.e. involves the provision of legal services, then an attorney enjoys this immunity. ID at 482. Internal quotation and citations omitted. This is an immunity from suit, not just liability. But plaintiffs sue low in federal court under federal law, so the Texas doctrine of attorney immunity is likely inapplicable in this context. Additionally, although Lowe is not a state actor, private parties can be sued for conspiring with state actors pursuant to 42 USC 1983, so long as the private actor is a willful participant in joint activity with the state or its agents. The involvement of the state official in such a conspiracy plainly provides the state action essential section 1983.
Wow.
This is awesome.
And you know what? These things that we get from the court, right? The recommendations and just seeing what the attorneys file, right? This is all good stuff because you can just basically learn off that, right?
Yeah.
These are things that are there on open record, right? You can get them off Pacer.
Yeah.
You can go
This
to
is
the
on
court,
Pacer.
right?
There's also actually a free website that I found. It's called Recap. So if anybody can't afford Pacer or they can't get an account with Pacer, it's called recap.com, and it actually shows you the case files and stuff like that in the Pacer court.
And it's free?
Yeah.
Wow. So why am I using Pacer?
I mean,
See if I can find it.
I'm not sure if it
What's the
gives-
web? How do you spell it? Recap?
Recap, RECAP.
Recap.com?
Mhm.
Let me see.
It'll show you if you just type in the case in the little search box, and then it'll bring it up.
I put in recap.com, but it
me
forwarded me
see.
to let me see.
Let me find it. I do believe that's what it's called.
I don't think that it shot
Let's
me to
see.
somewhere else. Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Recap. I'm trying to get it up. Hold on 1 second. I might have to look through my history and find it.
So you see, this is what it took me to when I put that.
Oh, well, that's not it.
No, well, watch. Look, that's exactly what I put. Look, recap.com. See? And
Yeah.
I put that, and it automatically goes to this website, whatever this is.
Wow, I don't know what that is.
Mhm.
And mine says deals with intelligence. Okay,
Well, yeah. That's what
I'll
this
look
is
it up.
saying.
I'll look up the link for you, and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So that way you have it.
So right now you're saying that they're not giving you any visits with your children right now?
No, I haven't had any visits.
Have you made any contact with the caseworkers?
Yes, but she stopped communicating. We haven't even had any face-to-face with her ever. We've seen her in court 3 times, and that was it. And it was over Zoom twice.
When is your next court hearing in CPS court?
That's a good question. I'm not quite sure when my next court date is because
The clerk will tell you, just so you know.
okay. Because the judge had recused himself and nobody in the higher court said that she was state.
Why don't you ask the clerk, the district clerk, okay?
Okay.
For CPS court, right? Ask the
Okay.
district clerk for a case summary, okay?
Okay.
In your case, and this is basically everything that's been filed in your case by you or them.
I emailed her and asked her for it, but she wouldn't give it to me. So I guess I'll just call up there.
Yeah, call or
Or go up there.
You might have to go up there. Yeah. But look,
She might
they
push
don't.
that
They
little red button on me.
but
I don't know.
they don't know you have a warrant. They
Yeah.
don't.
Well, Cindy Fowler's the one who signed this one. And also, I was going to ask you, the sheriff, Randy Brown, he did not sign this document. So I took a picture of it and I messaged him on Facebook.
Which document is
And
this?
the warrant.
Well,
I
it's usually the judge that signs the warrant, not the sheriff.
not the warrant, but his name is listed on this as his signature. So I took a picture of his so-called signature and I asked him if this was his signature, and he told me no. He said the court clerks just sign his name. Is that allowed?
If he's given them the power of attorney to do that, then yes.
Okay.
Right? You can, like, I can allow you to do my signature, right?
Okay.
And you would be my attorney in fact, and you can just sign my name, right?
Okay.
Or you can,
I wasn't sure how that worked.
yeah,
Because I thought he had to execute it. He had to be there to basically sign it. Okay. Okay.
That's there's a lot of legalities, right? A lot of things that have been implemented, right? That allows you to do things like this. It's like a real estate agent, right?
Well, what about the rubber stamping? If
now that's different. Okay, now that's different.
not allowed. Yeah. Okay.
That's
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's completely different. And I'm not even sure because you know what, it might not be allowed in one courthouse, but who knows? Like every courthouse has their own rules. Like,
well, see, the court, the first judge that I had, we're sitting there and she's with another family. Of course, they're up there talking, and someone brought up the fact that these judges aren't really reading the cases. She said, yeah, we just have a stack of papers with rubber stamps on them, and we actually don't have time to read the cases. So, because we have so many, we just, you know what I mean? They have a stack of papers. CPS can just walk in there and grab one. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, who told you that?
that was the judge who was telling another family that was up in front of her. I have that actually.
And
I'm not going to say that.
They set that on record?
Yes, and I have that recorded.
Oh, wow. Send me that.
Okay. You're going to have to turn the volume up because, like I said, okay.
I can do that. I got the software to do that.
Because I was sitting in the very back of the courthouse, but you could still hear it. I'm all.
I can even take off the static noise and increase the volume and add a video, whatever.
Awesome. I actually when I got arrested the second time for contempt, I had a recorder in my bra, and the court clerk.
You got arrested for contempt for tell us about that.
My first federal court, I filed a lawsuit against them my very first time with some of David Straight's paperwork. And they told me to pretty much, I wasn't allowed to file in federal court and to cease. Well, I continued forward with it and I got arrested. That was one of the videos that I had sent you.
Whoa. So you were filing David Straight's paperwork. Specifically, what paperwork was this?
I filed a couple.
Wow.
It was the affidavit of repudiation.
Okay.
And then I think that's one of them. And then the trust one, it actually mentions it in that paperwork.
Okay, yeah,
but
I've seen the trust. It's in his USB.
Yeah. And I filed that and they ended up dismissing it, but I actually got arrested in lower court for filing against them with that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I was in jail for
You got arrested for using David Straight's paperwork?
Yeah. For 7 days. But I was held in contempt because they told me I wasn't allowed to file in federal court.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's that video I sent you where I'm being arrested. Is kind of blurry. Can't really see, but there's a lady on there talking, explaining what's going on while I'm being arrested.
Wow, I would
So
definitely. Can you send that one to me again? When did you send it to me? Just right now?
yeah, earlier with those other papers.
Okay. I'll take a look at it. That's
But
pretty interesting. Wow, this is something. This is something that I needed to hear. People need to hear, right? Because I know we've all been following David straight, and like his documents aren't working, and that's the truth,
no. Yeah.
right?
I mean, and
And
it's
and
not that
and
he's not smart because he knows some of his, he knows his like some of
he's a
his stuff.
he's
And
a grifter. That's what he is, right? He sells you the idea of
yeah,
something good. He reels you in, right? Go off of whatever he's telling you, and that's all
yeah,
he needs. It's all he needs for you to pay attention to him, so he can,
yeah.
so you can just start paying him all
I
this
mean,
money, right?
I didn't pay for, yeah, but whatever.
I'm talking about the seminars, right?
Yeah,
And
I was gonna go to one, but I did not because he told me
you
it
see
was
what
$300, and I
you
was
see
like,
what
I
I'm
can't
saying?
afford that. I'm trying to fight for my kids. I don't even have a dollar to my name. What are you talking about? But
Oh yeah, I asked him for help one time too, and he said that if I can get $3,000, he would come down there, and I'm like,
well, that's like this lawyer told me. He's like, when my case first opened up, I was calling a bunch of lawyers, and I was like, I really need help. I got a CPS case, and he's like laughing. He laughed at me, and he said, CPS case. He's like, I could have gotten you off on a murder charge. He's like, but I can't help you with the CPS case. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm in for it. But so that's why I've been representing myself the whole time. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a mom fighting for my kids to come home. But I can't afford $30,000. I even asked, have been looking around for lawyers. One told me $30,000 and $795 just for a 30-minute consultation. And I'm like, okay, no, I'll just talk to myself, or no, I can afford that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Parents are struggling. What makes them think that we can afford that? Like, we're fighting for our lives. I lost my home already. Because of this, you know what I mean? Like, parents aren't in the position to pay $30,000 for someone to fight for them and then maybe or maybe not get their kids back.
I
You know what
feel
I
you.
mean?
Yeah,
It's
I totally understand.
heartbreaking. It's unbelievable, actually. And that's why, thank you for what you do. I mean, you're trying your damnedest to get the word out there and stuff, but parents
That's
are
all.
in a situation where they can't afford that.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is, and they're vulnerable,
Yeah.
to
And they'll do
attorneys
anything
and
to get
to
their
other
children
people.
back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll do anything, exactly. They will do anything, right, to
I
get their
mean,
kids back.
I miss my kids so much, but like, I can't afford $30,000, but I'm
Yeah,
damn straight gonna
but
stand
but
up
but
and fight.
but $3,000, you might get that
No,
money. No,
$30,000.
no, I know, but three thousand
Oh,
dollars, right? You could probably get that together and bring David straight down.
yeah. Thanks. I can also probably bring Santa Claus in the courthouse too. Maybe he'll get me. I'm just kidding. But for real though, like, they really hit you at a vulnerable state. And
Yeah,
I've got people who I try to like guide through it. I'm not no lawyer. I'm just a mom,
I know.
but there's a lot of parents that I've spoken to. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. And they take you for everything you got. They're supposed to be, CPS is supposed to be strengthening families. And all I've ever seen them do is rip them apart. Like, I've never had a background. I have 2 felony charges. How's that supposed to strengthen my family? You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm
We
about to
can
start crying.
no, I know. Hang in there, okay. I'm glad that we're speaking, and I'm glad that you're reaching out to me, and I want to do my best to see what I can to help you. I know
I
that
mean, I want to know what the next step I can do to get my federal case moving, because, man, I can't wait another year. My kids are growing up. My babies are, like, first step,
well,
first
well,
word.
after the show, we can definitely take a look at At your federal case.
Sorry.
I've been wanting to go
I'm
over.
I'm trying not to cry.
I know.
I mean, my daughter graduated from high school. My other daughter's about to turn 16. It's like I'm missing every single thing with them. I don't know. And I know other parents are too. It's hard. It is hard.
Your daughter graduated from high school already?
Yeah, one of them.
Is she 18?
Yes.
Oh wow.
I actually see her now because she's no longer under the thumb of CPS, but they tried to get her until she was 21.
Yeah, they tried to keep her there.
But she told them no.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear all that.
But
it's tough. It is.
It's just it's not right, you know. And I wish that more governmental officials would step in and realize what the hell they're doing to these families, because not all families that deal with CPS should have been dealing with CPS. It's just a bunch of crap, you know. And I want to say BS, but the not so nice word.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see it. I've got families, moms that I know that this really puts you in a hard spot, like depression wise. And it's hard to, like, they threaten you with, okay, if you don't relinquish your rights to your children, we're going to press charges. We're going to give you all these criminal charges. So most parents are like, okay, well, I don't want criminal charges, so let me just sign my rights over. But I always tell them, don't do that, dude, because most of the time they're trying to do that to scare you. You know what I mean? Because once you sign your rights over, once you voluntarily sign your rights over, that is the hardest thing to reverse because you signed it off. You know what I mean? Like,
I would definitely agree with that. I think that you have a better chance on
if you disagree.
Or yes, like say if you lost trial, I think that you have a better chance on getting a new trial, right?
Yeah.
Or a
Or
motion
appealing.
or appealing, or a motion to vacate the verdict from the jury. You see so many options, right? But once you
or
do
60B, you can do the 60B option, motion 60B to vacate it. But once you voluntarily relinquish your rights, like they take most parents to mediation, and that's where they get you right there. But no, I tell every parent, if you're going to mediation, you do not agree to anything and you do not sign anything, because
if you're gonna lose, then just lose, right? But don't do it voluntarily. Exactly. You got
don't make it easy for them. Like, mediation is where basically your case is done. They're just trying to get you to agree, make it sound like it's something good. You sign that paper, you just lost your kids, because it's the hardest to reverse. They try to tell me at mediation, we'll give you back your older two girls if you relinquish your rights to your younger two. I said, because your younger two don't know who you are. I said, my younger two don't know who I am because of y'all. That's not my fault. Y'all took 4 kids from me. I'm damn well fighting for 4 kids. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to give up, and I'm not signing my babies over to y'all. Why would you give me why would you give me my older 2 back? I'm good enough of a mom to take care of my older 2 daughters who I raised alone for 13 and 16 years. Perfectly fine. No trouble with the law. No CPS cases ever. This was my first one. And then you're not going to, I can raise them again, but I can't have my babies back. That don't even make sense. Like, it's crazy.
Well,
I don't know.
They have definitely put you through a lot, and I feel your pain. I really do. And I'm sorry you went through all that, but I'm glad
I haven't given up.
Out. I know, and you're doing pretty damn good. You've learned a lot. You've come a long way.
Yeah, I sure have. I talked to you that, and I didn't know what I was doing from a hole in the ground. But I mean, and it's not just me learning. It takes a village to fight these people, and once one rises, we're all gonna rise. So you just got to stand strong, Yeah. Like, I mean, I've been in my doubts of depression and thinking maybe I should just give up. Maybe they're just better off where they're at, but they're not. They weren't. They're my kids, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna just roll over. And that's why they're messing with me so bad, because I won't roll over.
Yeah, they want the easy ones, the ones that just give up.
Well, their problem with me was that they thought I was some hillbilly little chick who didn't know how to read and who wouldn't fight. And
you You have followed definitely a lot of things, and I praise you for doing what you're doing, because it takes a lot, man. It takes a lot from someone,
It
to
takes a lot
actually.
from you. Yeah.
Yeah, that too, I'm saying, like, you take anybody's kid, right? You
Yeah.
do that and see how they're going to respond, and see how they're going to. I mean, you take someone's kid, you think they're going to be in the mental capacity to start filing documents and create documents.
Exactly.
I think it's very stressful. It really is. And
It's hard on you mentally, physically. Like half the time I don't sleep because I'm worried about where my kids are, if they're safe, if they're okay. Like, and they say, oh, they're up, they must be on drugs, or they stay up late filing documents and researching. No, I researched what happens to a parent and a child when they're separated from each other, not including what happens, the traumatic stuff that happens to the kids developmentally, being separated from their parents at a young age, and the teenagers too. But the parents go through depression, insomnia. They don't eat, they can't sleep, they can't think. It's like your brain just goes absolutely numb or crazy, or I don't know how to explain it, but I feel every parent, and I wish that, there are more people standing up for parents that are fighting, because this is really horrible and it's heartbreaking. And the stories that I've heard, and it's only a few, it will bring you to your knees. Like,
earlier you said that you were suing the chief.
mhm.
Is he still in the suit, or did they dismiss him?
Oh no, she's still on the suit, chief of police.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's good. That's good, right?
it was hard, but I mean,
Yeah,
it
as a
took me
show.
twice in federal court to get there, but and 2 times in jail, but I got there.
You're
I'm
awesome.
just
You're
saying,
awesome.
for the parents out there, don't ever give up, because that's your bloodline, that's your future. Those
Amen.
are that's you right there. You made nobody has a higher claim to your child than you. Nobody has a higher, nobody has a right to your child than you, unless you're absolutely just a scumbag parent and you're locking them in a kennel and feeding them dog food or some crap like that. You do not deserve to be ripped away from your kids, especially in my case where I haven't even talked to them in almost 3 years now. Like, it's just unreal with these people, the power that they have, but they don't have that power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They make you feel like you're completely low. Like they almost make you start believing that you are a really bad parent, like,
Yeah.
in some ways. If I'm sorry, I'm just talking your ear off. But
No, and I feel everything that you're saying, right? Because I've been through it. I've seen so many people been through it, and they can literally just mess with your mind and make you question your own sanity, your own
yeah,
position that you're in, right? I've seen people, tell other people, well, why don't, maybe this is just for the best. And
yeah,
it's like, what are you
yeah,
talking about? Taking
yeah.
someone's kids for the best? I don't
Who
think so. When they
who
didn't do anything wrong,
and who makes you a better parent than me? Like, why you're taking everyone else's child? Where are you raising your child? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
I've
you
even
don't
heard.
know how someone else raised their child. Just because you don't agree with the way they give them macaroni and cheese and hot dogs for dinner, that doesn't mean they're a bad parent. Just because they don't want them to have that heart stent put in and they want to get a second opinion does not mean they're a bad parent. Just because they're being domestically abused and you're going after the mom instead of the abuser does not mean that mother is a bad parent.
Yeah. There's a lot of situations. Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, and for one thing's for sure, poverty isn't a crime.
No.
I've
And that's what they
actually,
try to use against me too. They try to say
you see,
because I was economically deprived, and I was like, but you know what? Me having money or not having money didn't teach my kids how to love or have a heart or be kind to somebody else. I taught my kids about the grass, the earth, how to be kind, how to take $1 to school and give it to somebody, or if you have the Thursday cookie day, you buy a cookie for someone who doesn't ever get a cookie, like stuff like that. Money doesn't buy that. Like, you teach your kids morals and about your family, and I don't know, it's just money's not everything, you know. You could be dirt poor in a tent and your kids could still be happy. Build a cabin out of sticks. Who knows?
I'm over here in LA, right? And I've
Yeah.
actually come across several people that I've seen, not that I met them, but just, passing by, where
Yeah.
and they're living in tents and they have kids, right?
Are they
And
happy?
they're
I
homeless.
bet they are.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Because you
They
see those
even got
movie
their toys
stars.
outside, and it's just like
Those movie
beast.
stars sure ain't happy, that's for sure. With all those kids and their nannies taking care of them. I mean, it all depends on what you're teaching your children and the morals and the values that you have. And, love goes deeper than money. And a mother and a father's love for their biological child is undeniable, and it goes deeper than these people think. I mean, I will fight till the end. They're gonna have to kill me. I'm serious, but
I feel you.
I don't know. I just feel real strong about, unless you're absolutely, because I'm not saying that there aren't these parents that don't deserve to have their kids taken, because yes, I've seen that part too. They're just absolutely like, how in the hell can you do that to your child? Yes, you deserve your child to be taken away, but man, there's like 99.998% of these parents that don't deserve their kids to be ripped from them, thrown in a situation that's probably 20 times worse than, their mom being poor or not having the right pair of tennis shoes or something. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think a lot of this has to do with money. The more kids
yeah,
they
it does.
remove, obviously,
Well, yeah. Did you know Texas alone moved in 2019? There were, I want to say, already 7,000 in the very beginning of 2020. I mean, already 17,000 kids already ready up for adoption. In our county alone, there was 7,000 in the beginning. And did you know they're already getting federal funding for 2022? Whenever it was 2021, how are they being awarded federal funding money for 2022 for children they don't know are going to be in foster care yet? Where are they getting these numbers from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. And $63 billion, you think that CPS or the government would put that money towards something else other than ripping families apart? Like, that's a lot of money that they were awarded. It's ridiculous. And they're saying they need more, and they need fundraisers, and they need this and that. Caseworkers aren't being paid enough. Where the hell is that federal funding money going? That's what I want to know. I'm sorry. I've done a lot of research.
Hey, you know what? I was very, very, very happy to. I'm finding out now, right? Everything that you're saying, I'm very happy to have invited you onto my show, because I didn't expect that you had went this far, right? And so
Yeah.
all that stuff that you were reading about the Rooker-Feldman doctrine, how you beat it, is pretty
Yeah.
awesome. It really is.
I mean, it wasn't easy. It took
Obviously not, right? But
a lot of videos, a lot of tears, a lot of patience, and a lot of research. And just, if you hear something from someone, look it up, because doesn't mean it's true. Like, that's what I do. If someone says something, I go and Google it. Like, is this true? The Constitution? Is this a real USC? I don't know.
Most definitely. Yeah.
I mean, I have tons and tons of paperwork that's stacked high, and I know a lot, but like I said, it started out, I knew nothing, but I'm just a mom trying to fight for her kids. And I just hope my kids know. And if I don't get them back, I just want them to know that I never gave up, and I wouldn't give up.
You've done a lot. You really have. You have an incredible story already.
Thank you.
God bless you, Vic. Seriously.
And I know I'm a talker, but
hey, that's what this show is for. To give you a platform, give you a voice, so other people can understand what's going on. You know, there
Yeah.
are tough moms like you. That's awesome. That's great.
And I wish more, they scared the shit out of you, excuse my language, but they make it to where you don't even want to speak. And I was that way in the beginning where I was not posting nothing on Facebook, wasn't talking about it. And then I was like, you know what? People need to know what the heck they're doing to us because it's not right. So then that's when I started posting everything on Facebook and speaking out about it and calling them out by their name. You know, my caseworker is a felon. She can be around my kids, but I can't.
What? Wow.
Yeah. She
That was
delivery
crazy.
of a controlled substance to a minor. And I got her certified court papers from Kane County.
Wow.
Yeah.
You definitely got to show that to me because I'm
I
definitely going
will-
to want to present that on my show.
I will. I had thought I sent them to you earlier, but it didn't go through. So yeah, I have her. I ordered them from Kane County, paid for them, and they sent them to me certified. So
Wow. That's awesome, right? Hey, the stuff that you find out, right? It's crazy.
Well, you got to do your research on everyone, like QR scanning those drug tests. You'll be surprised. QR scan one of those drug tests. You'll see what pops up. Like this paperwork is most of the time just crap. Like the MRO, David Nahan, who's signing off on drug tests and not reviewing them, his license was revoked in 1996. I have that document too. He was also arrested for abusing controlled substance. How is this? And he also has 4 or 5 different locations. He's not reviewing these tests. He's just rubber stamping these tests, signing off because he contracted with CPS. And so is John Tetrick. And you got to research the doctors. You got to look into the addresses because the address for that MRO was in Indianapolis, and that building was vacant. So can you tell me where they're sending these tests if the building is empty? Like, it's ridiculous.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right about that. And you're onto something. Right now. As a matter of fact, you know what? I want to share something with everybody. Let me see if I can find this real quick. And it's got to do about the drug tests. And I actually shared this on my channel a while back.
And you know, not one signature. That guy, you know, that guy's not signing these because when you sign something, your signature is not going to be the exact same signature every single time. And I listened to an actual expert explain that on one of those crime shows I was watching. Your signature is not going to be the exact same every single time you sign it. And his is on every single document.
And you're right about that. It'll be similar, right?
Yeah.
But it will be different. I totally get that. But watch, look, I want to share my screen real quick because I want to show everybody because I don't want everybody to think that we're crazy, right? But
Yeah.
watch, I want everybody to understand.
I mean, I did my homework. I really did. Like, I mean, every address, every name, every single name on any of the documents I researched, I looked up.
I'm going to share my screen real quick. Okay. And what this is this is an actual a lab owner who does they take they do drug tests for CPS, right?
And Quest Diagnostics is not doing the correct, they're not drug testing at the right levels. Like they're doing it at a lower or higher level to make you fail the drug test. So if anyone has to do a drug test, you go do it on your own, you pay for it. Because most of the time you're going to get a positive anyway from CPS.
Well, I want to show this video to everybody. Watch this.
Okay. Okay. Was that the one in Houston? That's in Alabama. Wow.
Okay. Okay, so this is the next part of that video. Okay. So
Okay.
there was an update on that.
There was also one from Houston, Texas, Michael.
Oh,
They were
really?
falsifying. Yeah, they were falsifying drug
Did that one
tests.
come on the news too?
Yes, it sure did.
Oh, wow. I'll be sure to look for that one. But here's
Okay.
the update on this case. Watch.
Okay. I don't know. I can't hear it. Can everybody else?
You can't hear the video?
No.
Oh, wow. I was pretty sure that everyone could hear it. Let me check the chat real quick. Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah, okay. I got some people here saying that they can't hear the video. You know what? I think I know what I did wrong. I didn't share my sound. Darn it.
I was wondering if it was just me or.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to play that one again then.
I got a family in Victoria that I've been trying to help, that their newborn was taken because of supposedly felling at the hospital too. And I've looked over all her records, and she had her baby didn't fail. She didn't fail. And she hasn't seen her baby either. And then another mother here in Medina County, she's fighting for her children, and her son was molested in foster care. And she has proof on record from her documents from court. And the judge said, "Oh, I'll just move him from a different foster care."
Wow.
Yeah,
tell me if you can hear this sound now.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
A Dale County woman accused of falsifying drug screenings and paternity tests, which she provided to the Department of Human Resources, wanted by law enforcement. And new tonight, she is behind bars. Multiple agencies investigating this case that we're told could have resulted in many child custody cases being affected. News 18 morning anchor Tanya Pruitt has details.
Owner of an Ozark-based lab collection company is in hot water and under investigation for allegedly giving fake records to the Dale County Department of Human Resources. Sergeant Cody Evans with the Ozark PD said police found out about the forgeries after getting tipped off by an unnamed doctor in Florida.
We received a complaint from a doctor's office in the Florida area advising that they believe their documents have been being forged.
According to the Ozark PD, 36-year-old Brandy Murrah of Clopton allegedly falsified paternity test and drug test screenings. On May 2nd, the Ozark Police Department launched an investigation and began looking into the allegation against Murrah's company, A&J Lab Collections. According to the Ozark Police Department, this could have been going on for the past few months, and it's possible that other jurisdictions were affected. A source telling News 18 that if the allegations are true, several children may have been wrongfully taken from their families by the Ozark judicial system. Murrah also allegedly pocketed money by keeping testing lab fees for herself.
It's very disappointing, that the trust is taken away from the people
judicial system,
DHR and the court services to get it right. So unfortunately, it's very unfortunate for the families
Yeah.
that's been affected by this. But we assure you that we're working on making sure we make that right.
A warrant has been
Well, good
placed for
job.
her arrest, and felony charges are expected. However, the investigation is still in progress, and more charges are pending. Keeping it local in Ozark, Tanya Pruitt, WDHN News 18.
Wow.
And again, like we said, new tonight, Murrah, under her previous last name Williams, was convicted on 5 counts of fraudulent use of a credit card in Houston County in 2013. And court records show that her case ended in a guilty plea, resulting in her being sentenced to 14 months in prison and 3 years of probation. Now, she has turned herself in this afternoon with her attorney, David Harrison. We're going to hear from Harrison coming up in the 6 o'clock hour, but that's the latest developments on that case right now.
County, we're learning more about.
So that's crazy. So this woman
Well,
has
way
her-
to go for for that doctor stepping up, because these other doctors, and how easy it is for them to falsify a test. I Googled the form for a drug test. The one my son had. I Googled that, and there's a sample online. You can print it out and you can just type in it. It'll let you type in the boxes and stuff. And then the doctors on it, one of the doctors, Connie Hong or whatever, she is a gynecologist out of Los Angeles, and she is not an MRO. I was like, where are they getting these names? They just picking them out from online and just writing them down, thinking the parents aren't going to look into it. I mean, most parents don't because they don't have the paperwork, but
Actually,
parents
quick
really
question,
seriously need to
everything.
ask their lawyers for everything, because you need to research it for yourself, because then half the time your lawyers aren't even telling you what's really going on, Like,
and this news video that
Yeah.
I'm showing everybody. Okay, this is on my YouTube channel. I actually pulled this stream off of the I guess the news channel, right? And so it's kind of difficult to pull these news videos off their own websites.
there's one out of Houston, Texas, a couple years back. They were falsifying for Quest Diagnostics. I have some documents I can send you that you're going to be really shocked. You're going to be like, what in the world? Because I've done my homework because of what they've done to me and what they're doing to other families. So I research every single .T, A, B, whatever, all over the paperwork, like you have to. That's your children. And they're ruining people's lives.
Heck yeah, they are. Well, I want to show everybody the next segment of this, right? Because this is this is the update on that.
About an investigation into falsified drug and paternity tests provided to the DHR. Brandy Murray is charged with 2 counts of forgery and now could face additional charges. Our Randy Hildreth spoke with the Dale County DA's office for this update.
Dale County's district attorney says more charges are forthcoming, and they're looking into allegations of theft and perjury. Brandy Murray was arrested May 10th and charged with 2 counts of forgery.
Michael, that's the lady from Houston.
Reports of falsified drug and paternity tests provided to the Dale County DHR. District Attorney Kirk Adams says the investigation is also looking into allegations of theft about money collected on drug tests that weren't done, and looking into allegations of perjury.
The allegations are they were never tested, and she just took an educated guess
And said
they were
negative,
positive for the most part, and submitted those results and testified to those results.
We reached out to state DHR. They confirmed this is an active investigation and they are working with law enforcement. Murrow is expected to appear in court July 25th. Randy Hildreth, WSFA 12 News, Dale County.
So
We also spoke with Murray.
she not only falsified drug tests out of Alabama, that is the lady that falsified drug tests in Houston, Texas. I'm not even kidding.
Wow. So with this video, this is actual several videos, right? That I was following along, and I just combined them all together because I used to post them all individually whenever I found a sequence like that. But I said, you know what? Let me make it more simpler for people to find, right? I'm just going to download all the videos that that are related to this.
I share everything on my Facebook. Anybody can go look on my Facebook, and I share anything I find out. I share. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, most definitely. I don't know if you want to see the last one to this. Would you like to see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Murrah's attorney, and we'll have that part of the story for you coming up tonight on the news at 9.
Women have lost custody of their children and their reputations are suffering. And one man says it's all because of lies and deceit. WTVY's Ken Curtis reports on a lawsuit filed by those women.
Dothan attorney Adam Jones
This is a lie.
says he's seen nothing like this.
This is a lab test report.
Drug analysis showed two women tested positive for methamphetamine.
Two single mothers who lost their children and who have been without their children for months on end now over false drug tests, fabricated drug test reports.
Fabricated, Jones claims, by this woman, Brandy Murrah.
Don't be that guy.
Police have already charged Murrah with falsifying drug test reports. Now she and her company, A&J Lab Collections, face a civil lawsuit. Adam Jones filed it on behalf of those two women who lost their children.
The system has unquestionably failed my clients.
Part of that system, the Alabama Department of Human Resources. DHR paid Murrah to collect samples like urine and hair follicles. Jones says in the case of his clients, Murrah sent DHR back tests that appeared to be from LabCorp, a large testing company.
This is not in the box.
But Jones claims Murrah never sent LabCorp the samples, but instead she created false results, presumably for financial gain. Despite Murrah's arrest and the likelihood of more charges, those two women still don't have their children back. So why not?
There's court personnel involved. There are guardians ad litem. There are attorneys.
There's money involved.
All of those people are who you should ask that question to.
In Dothan, Ken Curtis, WTVY, your hometown news leader.
Jones hopes a judge will make the lawsuit a class action one that would allow everybody who believes Murrah wronged them to join that suit. We spoke with David Harrison, Murrah's criminal attorney. He said he does not represent Murrah in the lawsuit, but only in the criminal cases. We were unable to reach Miss Murrah.
I
Let's
bet.
continue to investigate reports of falsified drug and
I guess there's one more. Let's watch the last one.
paternity cases involving a company contracted by the Department of Human Resources.
Yes.
Families are now coming forward with stories about how forged documents affected their lives. Our
Thank
reporter,
you.
Randy Hildreth, has been following this story from the beginning.
Wake
She's
the hell
reporting
up.
us from Dale County.
There's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't cry.
Jennifer Seaver says she
I
used
feel ya.
DHR drug testing vendor Brandy Murrah of A&J Lab Collections as part of her custody battle for her youngest girls, Madeline and Jennifer Grace. Seavers claims Murrah gave her false positive reports, and so a judge limited her parental access, complicating their custody battle even more.
I knew I was innocent. I don't do drugs. I should have been negative, but I was positive.
So she took a retest, which came back negative, and then she started digging.
We started calling places. The address actually that she had on the paperwork, it belonged to an aerospace building. And we talked to the doctor, and they had never read or seen my reports.
Murrah has since been arrested by Ozark police and charged with 2 counts of forgery after the doctor whose name appeared on the reports filed a complaint. And now Seavers is taking legal action.
The entire system needs to be put under the microscope, and we need to understand how it happened. And then we need to take steps to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Court records confirm Murrah pled guilty to fraud in 2013.
Better go
according to
wider
District
than that,
Attorney
buddy.
Kirk Adams. Now King and Seavers have questions on how Murrah got the testing job.
We want to know, how did Brandy Murrah, who has a criminal history of being dishonest, ever get approved to be a testing lab that they trusted?
King confirmed his office plans to file their lawsuit Wednesday. Randy Hildreth, the News at 9, Ozark.
Damn, they must have
And
missed that
Seaver's
one.
ex-husband also reached out to us and confirmed that he had a false positive test as well. He gave us this statement saying, I understand DHR is doing their job. I wouldn't hesitate to comply. But at the same time, the drug test results have taken a toll on my life. To read the full statement and learn more about this investigation, just find this story right now on the 12 News app.
Get this.
So there's Brandy Murray, everybody, age 36. Well, that was in 2019, right? So she's probably not 36 no more. But there you go. All right. So these videos, everybody, y'all can find on my YouTube channel. I've uploaded them. This one's called CPS Contracts Crooked Drug Testing Lab Owner. So y'all check that out.
What did she say about the address again? She said something. I was going to tell you. Oh, the doctor. She said that she started calling around the doctors, right? I was going to send you that earlier. My son, I got a hold of the laboratory. I emailed them and asked them if they had a donor, my name, my husband's name, and my son's name. No record of us being a donor. Specifically, our drug tests were sent to this laboratory, and she said that we were not in the system. I have that document. Unbelievable.
So I believe every not one. I don't want to say I believe every story, right? I believe a lot of things that people tell me only because I've seen it. Like when someone starts telling me, like, yeah, man, Michael, I wasn't positive for whatever it is they're saying that I was positive for. And you know what? I believe them. I believe them because things like this have happened already. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, the CPS workers, sometimes they are not certified to be giving drug tests. You can technically tell them no, because they do not have the authority to give you a drug test. They are not a doctor, and they are not certified to give you a test. You know what they do half the time? They'll take the swab test. Who knows where that swab test is going? What are they doing with it when they put it in their vehicle? It's supposed to be in an environment where it's, what is the word? What's that word? I can't think of it because I'm so irritated right now, but it's supposed to be sanitary, basically, in a lab. When they take you these tests, that's why you have to go to a doctor to get it done.
Is the social worker a social worker, or is she is a
she's
technician,
just,
right?
Is she a freaking wizard, and she's a genius too? She could see in the future, because they know that you're going to abuse your kid in the future, not now, but it's unbelievable. These people, and if you go on, you can look up to see if the social worker has a license to be a social worker. There is only 6 social workers in Medina County that have license to be social workers. None of these other people have authority to be taking your children. There's actually a website where you can look it up, and it'll show you if they have a license to be a damn social worker. It's unbelievable. And Michael, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
These judges, I was looking up the qualifications for the judges, right? There's a list on the Supreme Court's website where it says which court or which judge has jurisdiction in which area of the law or whatever they're supposed to be sitting over, right?
Okay.
So, and they're also looked up the qualifications. The judges are supposed to be qualified, meaning they are supposed to have lived in the county that they're sitting on the bench for at least 2 years. They're also supposed to be registered to vote in the county. And there's a bunch of qualifications none of these that are here in Medina County have. So these are elected officials. And then in the newspaper, can you tell me why a county judge is making over $100,000 and getting a bonus for his phone for $600, and why he gets traveling? I think it's like $6,000 for traveling. Where does he travel to? From his home to the courthouse? Like, seriously.
Well, let me give you an example of that, right? Watch. Because there's a judge, right, in Pearsall, Texas, right, in Frio County, in the 81st
Yeah,
district.
I'm right by Pearsall.
This judge her name is Melissa Dejerolami. Well, I mean, her real first name is Catherine, but what it says on the bench is Melissa. Right?
Yeah.
So for whatever reason why she does that, I don't know. Maybe so she doesn't get sued. I don't know, right? But this judge, okay, she wasn't even voted in, right? She's 2 judges, and what I mean by that, in Jordanton, Texas, she is a judicial judge over there, an associate judge, right? For the district, I want to say it's the 218th district, right? Over there in Jordanton. But she's also appointed, and see, in the one in Jordanton, she was really duly elected in, so she was voted in by the people, right? But she was also appointed, right, as judge in the 81st district, consisting of 5 other counties Not voted
Damn,
in.
I want to have
Appointed.
people.
Okay, so I can see why they would give a judge. And so you gotta imagine, okay, if
Right.
she's a judicial judge, an associate judge, right, in the 81st in the 218th district, right, or the 281st or whatever it is. No, you know it is. It's the 218th. If she's a 218th district judge over there, serving 5 counties, yet she's in, I think it's 5 counties, right? If I'm might be mistaken, it's several counties, right? But she's also a CPS
Okay.
judge, right? Over in the
Yeah.
81st, that consists of 5 counties. That, let's just say the average that's 10 counties. Okay, so she moves around a lot, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if she has a twin or maybe a quadruple. Yeah.
That's a lot of courthouses to go to. It is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But how can you be sitting on, if you're an elected official, you have to be registered to vote there and live in the county you're a judge to. Like, it's on, you can Google qualifications for a county judge and it'll pop up on the freaking Secretary of State's website. That's how I found it. I have the list, but check this out. County judge, $96,725 for the fiasco year of 20 and 21. And then hit longevity, $216. Health insurance. This mofo gets $9,000 in health insurance. Travel allowance is $10,800 and phone allowance is $600. Wow. And we wonder why our parents are poor and have to be on Medicaid, because look how much the judges get. Jeez. In this county. Holy moly. No wonder they all stick up for each other. Oh, and not including the first judge that I had. She terminated a parent's rights in Medina County in the lower court. They turned around and appealed in the 4th District Court of Appeals in San Antonio, that court, man. She was the judge over their freaking appeals court and kept their termination. Can you believe that? And she also wrote a book on how adoption is better. Yes, adoption is better than the children being with their biological family. Unbelievable.
Wow.
And
is that on Amazon?
The 4th Court of Appeals, I appealed my case in the very beginning. And yes, you know what they did? They dismissed my case for a Rita, catch this, a Rita and a Sam and an SPJ. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure Rita and Sam are still waiting for their court documents because my name's not Rita and my husband's name's not Sam and my son's name is not SPJ. So we got dismissed for a case that wasn't even ours.
Wow.
Do you feel me?
Yeah. It's messed up.
You're shocked, right? You're like,
man.
poor Rita and Sam are still waiting for their
there's
case.
just so much that has been done to, and you see, you're just telling your story, right? The next time I have someone else on
Can
the
you
show,
imagine?
Yeah, the next time I have someone else on the show, they're gonna throw at us a whole bunch of stuff that has been done to them. That's just ridiculous. It's just sad, you know.
Yeah.
They're really taking
proof of all
advantage.
this is all documentation.
And I have many parents. Okay, I have a long list of parents that want to come on my show. I really do. Right? It's just,
let them speak out.
And I am gonna let them. I am. Right? Because people want to hear.
And tell them, don't hold back just because if they're scared. Don't hold back. You give every ounce and you say their names. You do it all because they're not going to be held accountable unless we start speaking up and standing up. You know, I think we're the only family so far in Medina County who said, "Screw you. You did us wrong, and y'all need to be held accountable because it's not right what y'all are doing. You think you have unlimited power to just destroy people?" You know, like, no, oh man, it just makes me mad. And I know, go ahead. I could talk for hours. Like,
you've been through a lot. You really have. But I guess the questions
it's not over yet.
Yeah. I guess the things I wanted for you to do was, and we already discussed that, but in order, I guess I just wanted you to get your your case summaries. Get your case summary from the district clerk.
The-
Ask him for
the petition.
the affidavit. Just get everything again, okay? You know what?
I
Just
have
tell
the
him
affidavit. I've never seen a petition.
with the
And I
petition.
didn't tell
The
you that
petition.
they
The
kidnapped my
petition. Sorry.
they kidnapped my older two girls. I had a court order, child support, for them to go visit their dad for the summer, right? So I sent them before the court ever made an order or anything like that. I already had one in a different county for me and my ex to send the girls to Oklahoma to see their dad for the summer. They arrested me the very first time and then went across state lines and got my girls. Threatened him, told him if he didn't hand over my two older girls, who were not a part of the case because it says it on the affidavit, children not subject to the suit. They went across state lines, took them, and said if he didn't hand them over, he would never see his son again, which his son's from someone else, of course. But so they went across and took my older two girls from their dad in Oklahoma. And they're not even allowed to do that, right? They're not allowed to cross state lines.
Well, it's just weird because every state's freaking different. You know, I hate to say one thing and it's completely different in another state, right? Like
Yeah, true.
I was just watching this show from Artie, the attorney, and he was covering some. He was talking about Derek Gonzalez, right? That's a funny show, right? But anyways, he was showing how Derek was going in there. You're watching that show too, or what?
I watched Derek Gonzalez too.
Well, you really need to watch the Artie show, that Artie's Corporate Fiction, because he just covered them yesterday.
Okay.
That was freaking hilarious, right? But watch, I don't want to start smashing on Derek Gonzalez, right? But the whole point of that was that I found out.
See, but he does his research as well, and he's not trying to charge an arm and a leg to help people, I guess. He just posted on Facebook, but I don't know. That's another story.
Well, apparently he's in a state where misdemeanors are what is it? What did he have? It was traffic tickets or something like that, but they were misdemeanors. One of his note was like no insurance or whatever it is. It was right. But yeah. So like I said, like no insurance.
Go ahead.
That was a misdemeanor. Wherever Derek Gonzalez was at, I forgot what state it was.
Yeah.
But every state's different, it really is.
Yeah.
Some people
there's my law when I did. Yeah, bylaws, whatever the heck. When I did have a lawyer, and I only had her for like a month because I fired her. They were supposed to consolidate my child support case with the CPS case before the adversary hearing, and they did not do that. They waited an entire year to get jurisdiction over my two older girls, which were not part of the case. But it's just a mess. I don't know. I didn't know that they could go over state lines. I didn't think they could, but I'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead, Michael. You got the floor now. I'm on. I'm sorry.
You know what I was actually going to show y'all. Let me see. Let me share my screen real quick. It's right here. Share screen. Share. Okay, so what I'm showing here, everybody, is the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure, and every state has their own rules, guys. Okay, just so you know. But if you want to know how to file a case, if you want to know how to do it properly, correctly, and through procedure, then you need to get your rules of procedure for your state. Now let's take a look at Texas rules.
I have those printed out.
This is a very good guide to study. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click right here, and I want to click find. Okay, and I'm going to put petition, right? Because I want to see everything that has to do with petition. Right? There's a reason for this, right? Petition. Okay. So they found it several times. Commenced by petition, Rule 22. Okay, so that's Section 2, institution of a suit. Okay, so what I'm really looking for is Rule 22. Okay, just so everybody knows. Okay, So I'm actually going to go over here and I'm going to put rule 22. Rule 22. Okay. Search.
I also read somewhere the attorneys are supposed to sign in their full legal name. I need to figure out which.
I don't know what happened. Why?
Where that's at.
Go back. That was weird. There we go.
I got Civil Rules of Procedure printed out.
Here we go.
Right here.
So here's the whole point that I'm trying to show people, right? For the rules of civil procedure for Texas, this is not for every state. Every state is different.
You have to look your own up. Yeah.
So watch this. Commenced by petition. Look what it says. So this is for Texas. So in Texas, Rule 22 says a civil suit in the district or county court, okay, shall be commenced by a petition filed in the office of the clerk. So this is why I'm telling you to go find the petition that they wrote.
There isn't one.
No, there is. Trust me, there is.
You think
so? I know there is, right? Because if there's not,
the only thing I've
seen
is an affidavit.
Well, that's all you've seen, right? But it started because
how do you get discovery?
You don't even need to do all that. You just need to go to the clerk's office and tell them I need my case file in its entirety. Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Right? People want to file a motion of discovery and all this crap, and it's like, man.
I did all that, and the judge told them to give me discovery, and they still didn't do it. And I even did a motion to compel and all that other crap. It didn't work.
I mean, I just think it's more simple going to the clerk's office and just telling the clerk I need my entire case file immediately certified.
The clerk don't like me. Dude, the clerk don't like me. She pushes the red button.
I remember one time I went to go. I remember one time I went to go help out my friend Irene, right? And I told her, Irene, let's ask the clerk for a certified copy of the entire case file right now and see if they can do it. Oh man, they started freaking out, right? Because they had a whole bunch of files on there, okay, that weren't certified. Well, they're not certified. Yeah. They weren't stamped, they weren't signed, and they were literally freaking out.
There you go.
We were literally catching them write down signatures and stamping, and it's like everything was on the file, right? And it's
you know what? I printed them out from the e-file. I printed all mine out from the e-file. They're not signed. They're not stamped. And you know what else? Did you know that the dockets are supposed to have the raised seal on the front from the court? It has to have the stamped raised seal on the front. And on every page on the bottom, it's supposed to have the 5-point district star for the court on every page. Did you know that?
Well, as a matter of fact, let me show you.
To make it lawful. Come on.
This is what I want to show everybody. So let me go to my Google Drive real quick. Google.
How did you get the oath? Because they won't give it to me either.
That's gonna be okay. If you're looking for the oath of office, okay. That's going to be in the go to your county recorder's office and go to the ceremonies and marriages office, right? That's where it's at.
Can you do that online, or do you have to go to the court clerk or the court?
I honestly always go in person. I never do anything online. Okay. I've maybe filed a couple cases e-file, but I kind of like.
Well, I'm scared of the red button, so I don't want to go to the court. No, I'm just kidding.
There's no button.
I know. I'm just. I'm gonna start scaring everybody. There's a red button. No, there's not. I'm just kidding. So that bailiff is sure mean though. He assaulted me, and he doesn't even come around me no more.
Red button. That's crazy. So hold on. Let me see. So. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing everybody this document that I filed. So let me share my screen again. So I was trying to help my friend, Lori, right? She was trying to fire her attorney, right? And we did this like
That's a
we
fun thing.
right? We only had so
I
much
fired my
time.
attorney.
We only had so much time to do this, right? And I want to say it was like court was coming up, right, pretty soon. And so
Yeah.
I literally, and I want to say I did this overnight, if I remember correctly. So it's probably doesn't have the top header, but I mean, damn, I was like, I did it pretty quick, right? But it still
My
worked.
paper started getting better and better. You could tell from the very
Oh, yeah.
beginning how I was. Yeah, I was
And
learning how to do it exactly right.
you just gotta start filing things, and you'll get the hang of it. But anyways, watch. Look.
Yeah.
So obviously, guys, what's missing on the top is like the Lori versus the state of Texas, and then on the top part, the name of the document, and then, of course,
The name of the court.
Yeah, and yeah, and I forgot to put the cause number, But obviously, you know what? When we got to the clerk's office, the clerk was like, "Well, it's missing the cause number," and I'm like, "Well, can I just write it down?" She's like, "Yeah, write it down."
Oh well, guess what?
So
On my
we filed this.
affidavit, there was no cause number on my affidavit that they filed.
Well, see, these are things that you can actually bring up, right? But
Yeah.
obviously, it made it to your case, and I really don't think that it's a big deal. It's something that
No,
can be
again,
argued.
CPS filed it without a cause number.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. Here's what could have happened too. Okay, this is just a scenario. Okay, but because
Yeah.
we never know what the cause number is going to be when you're first filing a case. Neither does CPS.
Yeah.
So where does the cause
Okay.
number come from? Well, that comes from the clerk when they generate it. And so that's what that is.
Yeah.
So
But they're supposed to file it before they take your child from you, right?
well, unless there's a exigent circumstance, right?
Oh, well,
however you say that word, right?
Extingent.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways, so watch. So I'm showing everybody this. This is the document, the affidavit to revocate power of attorney, right? So guys, what you want to make sure is on a document, obviously, right? Is going to be a cause number, just like so. Make sure, and then got to put the date. Well, the date will be there on the bottom, but I put it in the top and just real quick, right? But guys, look, if you want to make sure something's filed in the court legit and they're not screwing you over and they're not trying to say, hey, look, here's right here. Here's the order to take your kids, right? And they just show you an order, right?
Just like they did to me.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, well, let me see that. Can I see that? And take that thing away from them. And this is what you want to look for. You want to make sure that there's if you're in Texas, okay, look for this
And it
right
has
here.
to say order.
In Texas, it's going to be a QR barcode on top. See that QR barcode right there? Okay, that means that it was officially filed into the court, and that is what gives its authenticity, right? It gives
What
it.
the?
This is what gives, and if you scan that, it'll show your cause number under too, right? Now, if you want to make sure that this document really came from the court, you could ask to see if it has a certified copy, right? Which is that star symbol in the back. Okay, so whenever you ask for a certified copy, whenever you ask for a certified copy back from the court, it's going to have a star symbol in Texas, right? It might be a different symbol wherever your state is at. And of course,
And a court order, and a court order is supposed to say, okay, all they had for me to take my child was an affidavit in support, which was never filed until after the fact. And if it's a court order, it's going to say order on the top.
Your affidavit,
that's for sure.
Your affidavit in support of the petition. It's probably what it's called. So
Of
where's
an
the
emergency removal.
So where's the petition? That's all you want.
Exactly.
Right.
And you know what else? We called the court clerk, and that's what I have a recording of too, of her telling us they can't take your kids with a non-emergency removal. I said, well, wait a minute. They took my kids with an emergency removal. She goes, well, we have on file a non-emergency. I said, so I went up to the courthouse the next day, and sure enough, they had a non-emergency and I had an emergency, but it wasn't a court order. It was just an affidavit in support that wasn't even filed yet.
An affidavit in support of what?
An emergency removal.
Okay.
But that affidavit of support of an emergency removal was not filed until after they took my children. It was filed at 1:32 in the afternoon. They took my kids at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's the thing though. And it should be like that, right? But if it's an emergency and they're claiming the emergency, right, then then all they're obligated to do is as soon as they take their children, they're supposed to file their affidavit.
File it. Well, here's the funny thing. The cop sat on the stand and said that there was no emergency. The kids were not in danger.
And when was this?
One of the police officers. Okay, we went to court. It was the adversary hearing where they listened to you and they put you on. He put the cop on the stand and
the adversary hearing is your hearing on the 14th. It's in Texas. I don't know what it's different in every state, right? Okay, but in Texas, after they take your child on the 14th day after the removal, they're supposed, and it could be before the 14th day, right? But on the 14th day or before,
supposed to be 72 hours with an emergency removal.
No, that's not the adversary.
Had ours a month after.
That's not the adversary hearing. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Okay, listen to me. So when they remove a child, okay, 72 hours, they're supposed to have a hearing, okay, for the emergency removal. But that's not the adversary hearing. The adversary hearing is 14 days before. After. It has to be before the 14th day, right? So it can be before. That will be your adversary hearing. Your adversary hearing is the hearing where you're able to challenge for whatever reason why they took your child, right? If you're in opposition to why they did that, then that's your day to speak up and to say, hey, no, wait a minute, I want to challenge my adversary hearing, right? This didn't happen the way that they're saying it happened. And really? So where's the witnesses, right? And that's the day that you can bring. You can. It's kind of like trial, right? But for that day,
like a kind of like a mini trial, kind of. Well, the cop got on the stand and I asked him 2 questions. Were my kids in danger? Did they look like they needed saving from CPS? And I asked him if they had a warrant to take the kids, and both the questions to that was no. The attorney on the other side butted in and was like, well, do you know how to tell if a child is in danger? He's telling the cop this. The cop was all, well, yeah, I am a police officer. I work at the school. So right there, the cop said that my children were not in immediate danger at all. That should have been it. There was no more witnesses. There was 2 witnesses, the investigator who's not a firsthand witness and the cop who's not a firsthand witness. That's it. No more witnesses. That was all.
The caseworker didn't testify?
Just the investigator. There was no caseworker yet.
Well, the investigator, that's what I meant, right? But the caseworker, the investigator, she testified?
Yeah, and she only answered. They asked her, how long have you worked for CPS? How long have you done this? Nothing pertaining to my case. I asked her, aren't you supposed to remove a child within 24 hours if it's an emergency? Why did you wait an entire month? And then I asked her, you wrote in your petition that my husband's mother
and just to clarify for everybody, right? The reason why you said why did you wait for an entire month is because Rebecca here.
Because if it was an emergency.
Yeah. For the people that are just tuning in because they didn't hear the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why Rebecca's saying this is because they actually let her go at the hospital, and a month later they removed her child, her little girl, right? Stating whatever it is that they were saying about, the drug tests being failed or whatever. But if it was such an emergency, why did the hospital allow them to be discharged? Because the hospital didn't have a problem.
And why did the investigator go on vacation for an entire month and then turn around, come back, and take my children?
So she had time to go on vacation, come back for an emergency removal. Right?
Yeah, she had fun at Disneyland. But
did she really go to
and
Disneyland?
Then I asked her that. Yeah, she went to Disneyland. I got a screenshot of that.
How do you know that? How do you know this, that she went to Disneyland?
Her face, she's retarded, and she made it her profile picture on Facebook, and it has the date. So I screenshotted that. But I asked her why it took her a month, and then I turned around and said, "You put in your own affidavit, you swore to it that my
What do you
my
mean?
child's
You
grandmother."
found her on Facebook or in her picture and all
Yeah,
that? Or?
I'm telling you, I researched. Yeah, I found my caseworker on Facebook, and then I blocked them all from my Facebook. So, but yeah. I took a screenshot of her Disney, like with the picture of her profile at Disneyland, and then a picture of her saying, "Mama drinks with a beer in her hand and her kid in the back seat." Come on now. Like, really? But anyway, so I asked her, "Why did you write in there?" Because my husband's mom would take my son and I would have the baby because, you know, I just had a baby and I was kind of a little bit overwhelmed with you know, because he was one, she was newborn, and he would just go play at grandma's for the day. And then, yeah, anyway. So I asked her, why did you say that she stated that she has my son all day long and I have the baby? So you're saying that I drugged my son, but yet he's not at my house. Well, then the other attorney, hearsay. I'm all, well, isn't all y'all stuff hearsay? Seriously. And I'm objecting to everything they're saying. The bailiff's poking me in my shoulder, telling me to shut up. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I can't object to nothing, but I did anyway. I didn't even know he was allowed to touch you.
Well, no, nobody's allowed to touch you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's over there
everybody's got the-
poking me in my shoulder every time I object and telling me to shut up. He's all, you need to shut up. I'm like, I'm objecting. I don't agree with any of this. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
I want to share this video real quick, right? Because we're talking we're talking about you made some comment about the caseworker holding a beer or something like that. What you said right now, right? Okay, and I want to in 2 years ago, okay, and I can't remember who it was that actually shared this to me, okay, but there was this woman out here, right, and she was asking me for help. And at that time, I was still beginning to learn a lot also. And so I told her, you know what, I could give you a platform, you know. She was like, Michael, can you just share this video? And I'm like, that's all I wanted to do is just like give people the voice, right? So she shared to me her videos of when they were taking her kids, right, her baby. And man, this is your people, y'all are gonna really feel this video. Okay, so it's very emotional. Okay, because she actually caught the moments of this actually happening.
I tried, but my phone was dead.
Okay, so at some point she decided to take out her phone when it was happening, right? But she did her research too, like the way you said, right? You found and she actually found she looked up her caseworker on Facebook, and the caseworker on Facebook had pictures of him in a club with a cigar or a blunt. I don't know what that was, right? And holding some beer. Right? Watch.
Mine, mama drinks with her kid in the back seat.
Okay, let me share my screen.
It's hilarious, man. They act like nobody's human, you know? Last time I checked, we all bleed the same blood.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, so you know what? Hold on, I forgot to share this sound. Darn it, I always do that. Hold on. Let me stop.
You know what my favorite video of you, Michael, is? When you're like, is that a fact? Is that a fact?
Oh, yeah.
And that lady is like so flat. She's so flabbergasted.
Okay, so there we go. So all my videos are here. You click on videos. Okay, so it's gonna be right here. I got about 200 and something videos. Here it is. Right here. Hi, my name is Michael, also known as Dad versus CPS. I wanted to show you this video because I asked people previously
to send me footage of what it was that was going on in their lives, because I'm going to show you on how this is happening all over the world, all over the United States, in Texas, okay, where people from CPS, okay, are going into people's homes and kidnapping children, removing them without any due process of law, without charging anybody with the crime, because most people don't even ask that whatever it was that was so bad that they had to remove your kid, yet they won't even charge you with the crime. It's a scam.
Exactly.
It's a fraud. A flim flam. You get the picture? Okay.
Flim
So
flam.
CPS will go in front of a judge in an ex parte, okay, without you even being there, okay, and they will present a case with an attorney, with a caseworker, who both are not even first-hand witnesses, and they will get an order to remove and kidnap your kid, okay?
Your child.
It is sick, okay? But this is the reality of the situation. There really isn't any two first-hand witnesses that can swear under the penalty of perjury that you did anything wrong.
Yep.
Okay? Nobody that has saw any real claim, right, can file an affidavit of facts and truth or a claim that you did something wrong. And that's the real truth. They don't have any real facts. They don't have any real evidence. They don't have anything that's real enough to actually do the things that they're doing. Okay? They're kidnapping and child trafficking kids all throughout the world, all throughout the United States. And this is the real truth. Watching this video on how they show up without any real emergency that is even being taking place to remove a little boy.
That's the caseworker right there. I'm gonna press pause right there. Can y'all see? this is the social worker. Okay, look in the bottom right here. You see this right here? He's got a little lemon on his drink. You see that? It's got the
Oh my God.
the salt right there on the cup. Come on, this is
You know what?
drink.
You should have the kids with them right there. No, I'm just kidding.
But hold on.
Wow.
Look at it. He's got a bracelet like he's in the club. You see that? He's got a big old cigar.
Like, yep.
He's got a big old cigar or a blunt, or I don't know what that is, right? But he's all tattooed up too, and I'm not saying that's wrong.
I know.
You know, but this is the caseworker, right? Okay.
Wow.
Removal is a
Mine
life
is to
and limb.
Disneyland.
And what is your emergency? What did you say?
I do have my body cam on.
I didn't.
I
need my
I
own.
didn't give you permission to take me, so therefore I'm not saying nothing.
It's
That's him right there. That's the caseworker. Okay, that's the one
Yeah.
we saw smoking blunt. That's him.
actually my constitutional right, which you
Are you gonna
probably
sign the
don't
paper,
know.
yes or no?
So this gentleman
Are
is
you signing the paper, yes or
is
no?
removing my son. He's saying it's an emergency
Tell me.
removal. An emergency is of life and
Is
limb.
life or limb.
Now there's my
Yep.
pack and play. There's all my baby stuff. I have 2 pack and plays. Car seat.
You won't leave it on the
Damn straight, woman. You tell him.
You're illegally kidnapping my child.
And they have to have the consent of the parent too. On top of that.
Oh, what is your name? I think it was on the paper. Yeah, what is your name? I'm pretty sure it was on the paper. Yeah, but
That looks like the same one that took.
just video. You're taking my son illegally. I know. I heard you, honey.
Yeah, we'll get the car seat and get the stuff you need to ship.
Whoa, that dude don't even have no respect.
Doesn't mean you're not going to get them back.
He only is around me.
It doesn't mean you're not.
Oh.
You.
Doesn't mean
I was the same way.
All right, just get yourself in order. You think this is going to look good? You screaming?
I was screaming.
I hate my mom.
Yeah, but you need to control your temper.
You're taking my.
Did she get her son, her kid back?
But this is the
I haven't heard any update from her.
God, I feel her pain.
You're the one writing.
I fell to the ground.
What do you think it's gonna? What do you think you're gonna write?
He's illegally taking my son. It's 100% illegal. And this gentleman's taking my son around He does. He's never even around men. His dad's not even in the picture.
Oh, pisses me off.
And conveniently, my mom left. Why are you
Wow.
doing this?
I tried talking to you. You don't want to talk to me.
Please don't take my son.
Well, talk to me.
By law, she
And then
doesn't
you
have
don't
to talk to you.
I didn't say that. Please don't touch me.
You're taking him either
Please
way.
don't touch me. Just touch my kid.
Either way, you're taking him,
to
even
talk
when
to
you
us.
talk.
We want to help you.
But you're not. But either way.
You told us to go F off. That's what you told us.
But you were gonna take. You were
Yeah,
coming.
where's
to
the
take
law
my son
saying you can?
either way.
We were going to talk to you and assess the situation.
So it doesn't matter what I do at this point. You're
Ma'am,
still taking
you're
him.
illegally taping me. I didn't give permission to tape me. So
It's
that's
my
admissible.
right.
That's not
Illegally, it's a one-party
It's my
state
right.
in
It's
Texas.
my constitutional
Well,
right.
make sure you
That's
come to court.
national.
Make sure you put this on tape. Make sure you come to court on Tuesday at 1 o'clock at the Canton Courthouse.
What's today?
Today is
Okay, why don't you go back to the club?
See you in court at 1 o'clock on Tuesday.
Oh my God, that pisses me off.
I don't actually. I have my old one.
Who are these people? Oh my God.
This does not mean
No, I don't know how this goes.
Okay, I don't even know who that is. You saw that passenger get in there? She didn't look anything
Yeah.
like she was working with CPS, right? She
Uh-uh.
looked like just like a. I honestly don't know, right?
These people are literally
lying.
kidnapping.
Please watch these videos
I'm
about these people.
I've been doing this for years, for 12 years. They come out, they interview the parent, they find out what's going on and why somebody called about it.
They allow these social workers.
Who's that
to dri-
guy?
Who?
Who
The
was?
driver?
Who's that talking?
That's the cop. Okay, but
But
what
the
I'm
cops
trying to
aren't even allowed to say anything. They're there for to keep the peace. That's it.
they're there to assist in a kidnapping.
Well, yeah, I know that's what I know that's what they do, but they're supposed to keep the peace where you don't kill the caseworker.
I mean, look, I just don't get why that vehicle is not. It doesn't have any stickers. It's a
Nope.
personal vehicle, right?
Yep.
It's not exempt. The caseworkers are allowed to drive off with your kid in their own car and go wherever
My
they want.
caseworker didn't even have
Chose
or
to
the
do that, right?
investigator
But
who
they're
drove
supposed
off
to.
with mine didn't even have a driver's license. This is unbelievable.
So you're gonna take the child, but you can't act irate and start yelling. That's not gonna
Who the hell would act normal?
you know what I mean?
These cops are so
I
stupid.
need to go inside. I don't want my baby to see me upset.
You and mom fighting.
And why can't his grandmom come pick him up? Because you guys are kidnappers. That's why. His
Yep.
grandmom would come pick him up right now,
I think the baby's going.
and you're not gonna give him a chance.
the baby's
You
going
think
with your aunt.
strangers are better?
I think the baby's going with your aunt.
His no,
Steve's not taking
my
it.
yes, my
Do it
is
with
my
the aunt.
my aunt is taking my son, or you're taking him? Who's taking my son? Where is he going?
And we're just supposed to allow them to do that,
So you're
right?
not gonna
Without
talk.
acting irate.
Where is my son going right now? See, he's not going to my aunt's. And that is also illegal, to not give a chance for his family to go to his family. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
You're supposed
Family's
to
supposed to
let-
be first.
emergency. You're supposed to let him go to his family.
My husband's family lives not even a block away from where we live. They made no effort.
When do you think your mother will be
That is sick.
I don't know why.
I don't want
Call her.
I don't want there to be an issue.
And we're just supposed to allow our kids go with these strangers who we don't even know if they're real social workers, right? And be okay with that?
Whoa. Am I seeing this correctly? Did she just come out of the truck with the baby?
I hate
Look.
Yeah.
She's just there holding the baby in the front, right?
I
Until
know.
They took off. That's freaking evil.
That's ridiculous. And then that guy's arguing with her. He's not even being professional whatsoever.
There he is. There's the caseworker.
Yeah. Look at that ghetto mofo. These are the people taking our children.
Have a drink. But anyways.
Mama drinks. That's unbelievable. What I want to know what gives them I don't know, the authority to think that they're higher than God. You know what I mean?
They shouldn't be as rough as they are. I really don't think so. I really do believe that there just needs to be more supervisors.
You know, and they don't even follow their
something.
policies from one case to the other. They go completely like, I only had one CPS case my whole life, and say another lady had 10 cases and she's got her kids back, and I'm straight termination. Do you understand what I'm saying? They go different routes.
I personally feel like we really don't need CPS.
No,
I think the sheriffs can do this. Look, if there's a crime being
it's a crime. That's a crime.
Yes, if there's a crime being committed, okay, and
that's why we have police officers.
Yes, if there's a crime being committed, then and there's proof of that, well, then the parents should go to jail, and that's the end of that, right?
And it's not a civil case. It's not a civil case. It is a federal crime to neglect or abuse your child. None of this should be in a family court, right?
There should be some big consequences. There really should.
Yeah. I don't know. I appreciate you though, letting me talk your ear off.
Hey, no problem. But you know what? I do got to go pick something up before these people go to sleep. But I appreciate you coming on my show, and I appreciate you speaking out, and you know, I was very thankful that you shared everything that you did. We're definitely going to keep in touch. We're going to go over your documents.
I'll send you some stuff. Yeah, I'll send you some stuff that I got.
All right, I appreciate it.
To show you.
But we're going to go ahead and call.
And just to all the parents out there, stand up. Don't give up. It's your child, and just keep fighting. And do a video on Michael's webpage.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having you on.
All right, thank you.
Good night, everybody. Okay, bye.